Hey guys. Right. No one is here yet. It's just me at the minute. As you can see, I've got the stream up ready to click play. I have not watched it. I have avoided the internet. I've basically played a little bit of Void Bastards. And I didn't get very far into that because I was cooking my food at the same time. So I was back and forth doing the food, and I've literally played it for all of literally 2 minutes, maybe 3. And then I decided to watch some Blackadder. The set is this set. There's Blackadder, Blackadder 2, Blackadder the third, and Blackadder goes fourth. But I'm never sure if Blackadder 2 is Blackadder 2 or Blackadder the second, or what have you. So I watched that, and then I started watching some bit of Fry and Laurie because I fancy watching some old school funnies. But that's just me. So obviously, I don't know exactly anything at all about the Direct. I know there was some rumors, and like someone had been contacted by Nintendo's lawyers due to leaks. While I think it may be a bit far in some ways, because it's not really not having a serious effect on anything, like as if piracy would or something like that, or like where they do cease and desists in that sense, which even then fan-made games I don't think would take away from the real games, but that's another discussion altogether. I'm kind of happy about it at the same time, because one of the worst things for me is E3's come in. You're all excited to watch these live announcements and see some really cool shit, like these people putting a lot of work into it to give you some really cool like intros into these games, and then some fucking twerp on the internet who goes, here's a list of shit that's happening. It's like, well, thanks, like, and it's not like you can avoid it unless you literally spend 2 or so weeks, if not more, never going on the internet and just staying out of the way, not talking to anyone, because someone might accidentally slip up that they've seen this leak. It's just really it detracts from the overall experience, and it's just a little disappointing that it happens. For me personally, like a lot of people would probably just not care. Whereas for me, I actually like having these cool little surprises. And it's just a bit of a bitch, like. But hopefully it does mean that stuff like that will calm down. Hello, Matt. Matt has joined us.
Hello.
He's eating some crisps.
No, it's a Belgian bun.
He's eating it's a very papery sounding Belgian bun.
To be fair, it's because there's a wrapper with it.
Well,
that might be what you can hear.
No. It's a paper Belgian bun.
No. I've suddenly set fire to everything. Listen.
We are currently live. I don't know if if anyone. Well, no one's here so far, not that I can see. But I was basically just saying about. I don't know anything about this Direct. I literally have nothing. I heard there was some leaks, like rumors and leaks and that, but I can't remember what they are. Fortunately, because I've been trying my hardest to avoid anything with any of the E3 stuff. And I was saying about how, while it doesn't really make that much difference finding out what's being revealed like a week early from leaks, for me personally, it really impacts the experience of watching the Directs and watching the other conferences. And while maybe getting lawyer involved maybe a bit far, maybe, for me, I'm happy it's happened, and I hope it means that it doesn't happen now, or happens a lot less, because I want to find out and not have someone just go, this is what's going to be, and then there's no surprise. It takes away from watching E3, and it's just like, well, what's the fucking... And the thing is they leak it like literally a week before, and it's like, well, just wait a fucking week. 1 week.
What I'll say about this is that it's a journalist's job to find out the news, but it's up to the companies that are involved in that to protect that news.
Yeah,
So,
I know.
if journalists find out, then they can print it or whatever, and that's fine. If it's just some person on the internet who's just, chucking stuff out on Twitter, then it's a bit
Yeah,
different.
I don't know. I just
And
find it
also, we're talking
disappointing.
about, like, if Nintendo have got lawyers involved in this sort of thing, it's because there have been breaches in their legal terms with their like NDAs and things
Yeah,
like that,
NDAs are thinking
and
too.
and that's, for them, that's really serious. So
Yeah,
that's probably more what it's about than actually one person on Twitter saying something that they've heard. It's more to do with making sure that these people don't keep hearing things, you know.
yeah. I am just messaging Doom. Let him know we are starting in 4 minutes.
Okay.
And he needs to hurry his derriere up.
Can you put a link to the direct into Discord for me? Just so that I don't accidentally see something on the way to it.
Yeah. To look at the
That would be
screen
handy.
just in case anything is said in chat.
Yeah. That was kind of
It's like I've been trying to avoid looking at stuff going on the forum just to post something was a fucking nightmare.
I know. I mean, I may have had something spoiled. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if I just saw the thread topic for something else or what.
I don't know. I'm avoiding everything, because a part of the appeal is the surprises, and you know what I'm like for spoilers in games. You know, I'm a crazy weird fucker. So
I mean, who knew there would be a Donkey Kong stage in Mario Odyssey in New York?
I felt really bad for that because you walked off and then typically that happened and you came back and it's like, I felt really bad.
It's alright.
Hey, the legendary Grum has appeared.
Grum.
Grumble, 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 grumble.
Grum, I'm burning.
He's eating some paper. Right, I can see Doom is in Discord, so he should probably join us in a second. I'll minimize this. Yeah. So, we are 2 minutes from going live, hence, as in me clicking the play button. There's no live, so to speak. It's already happened. For those in chat,
did you post the link?
Yeah, I did. I think I put it in the commentary chat. Yeah, it's in commentary, just above us, just above the voice channel.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna start now. For those in chat, please don't say anything about what's gonna happen. This is all basically for me, Matt, and Doom, I believe, when he turns up. This is like as if we're watching it live, so please don't spoil anything, because I'll probably end up hanging myself.
Oh, this is a GameSpot version. Okay.
Not literally.
Right, I've got a very blurry looking screen of what looks like Mario Maker 2 at the beginning.
Yeah, I've paused it right at 0 seconds. It looks like something exploding from Zelda, a Guardian, and then just on the right side of the screen is Cat Bowser.
Okay, so we can confirm that there is a Breath of the Wild Mario Maker or something.
Yeah, from this one image, they are making a Super Mario Brothers X Legend of Zelda maker.
Yeah, totally.
Come on, Doom.
What do we do if he's falling asleep and we don't know?
Don't know.
We'll just have to get Grum.
Why not? Come on, Doom. It's 9 o'clock. We need to start. People are excited. I'm excited.
I'm excited too.
Isn't it? If you're not excited, then you're not a real gamer. Oh, sorry, that was stupid. Like I said, I can see him in Discord. He's there, but he's just not there. We'll give it a couple of minutes and then we'll go live. Maybe he's not coming. Oof, it's getting hot in here.
It's the excitement.
No, it's fucking because the heating's on.
Oh, wait. You've got the heating on today?
Yeah, we tend to stick around the nights if we need to dry stuff. Yes, we can dry stuff in the tumble, but some things say not to put them in the tumble, so we don't.
Do you not have a washing line?
We do, but where we are, we're quite low down, and the walls in the garden are very high, and the line doesn't actually go higher than the walls, so it doesn't really blow, and the back of the house only gets sun for like, I don't know, a small portion of the morning, and then the sun goes round the other way.
Right.
So it's like, it'll dry, it'll just take a while. Hey, how you doing? Jenuall, and Ubellion, and Grum.
Hi, guys.
Where's Doom?
I hope Grum's feeling better today.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly what was going on yesterday. I just noticed. Oh, was it yesterday that you was talking to Jasmine? I didn't see what was said in chat.
Yeah. He just said he wasn't feeling great. He was a bit anxious about something.
Grum said he's going to ask Doom if he's joining. Where is Doom? He's... Can't seem to get on the Discord channel. What do you mean?
He's around Grum's.
There's the link for the Discord. And if you go into if you go to General Voice, I can move you into the commentary live chat. Yeah, that's because I've got it set so that people can't just jump in. If you jump into the General channel, I'll move you down into the community live chat.
Is that Doom you're actually talking to?
No, Jenuall. Doom is some people who do stuff all the time. I tend to just give them permission to just move around. I mainly done it. It was for when I was streaming games before. I remember someone just randomly joining the game and just be in there, and I was like, a little uncomfortable. Hello, Jenuall. Hello? Can't hear us.
Hello.
Hey, Carl, thank you so much for the biddies. GRcade is very appreciative of your support. Sorry we haven't actually started the direct yet. Doom said he was going to be here, and I don't know where he is. Also, Jenuall seems to be muted or something, because I can't hear him.
No. I heard a sound of someone joining, and that was it.
It could be. What you want to do is, if you're on PC, is go to settings and just check to see it's using the right mic and headset.
And do the same in Discord.
Yeah. That's what I meant, was Discord, yeah.
Yeah.
Whoopsie.
So is Jenuall.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Xanthan, you bastard. You just spoiled something for me.
Well,
I don't actually care, but the point is, it says if you look at the side, it says streaming, and then it's his title of his game, and that's obviously what, and it's a spoiler for the direct. What? Oh, never mind. Then we'll just go live. We're not waiting around all day. Because people want to watch, and I want to watch 3.
Yep. Oh, this is quite exciting. This is like the movie chat.
Yeah, I like the movie chat. It was fun. It was just a shame that we stopped doing it. Like, I'm always willing to do it. I'm willing to do most of these kind of things simply because I just enjoy having a chat and a laugh.
Also, it's worth bearing in mind, most of those films were fucking shit.
They were, but we could always watch better films. But I just enjoy doing it because it's like basically having a laugh with your friends. Like, when we play games, we stream, we have a laugh. And then people in the chat also get to interact and have a laugh with you. And I just enjoy doing that. And, you know, it's like, if this was to be like a job, say, where I had to be extremely strict and professional and so on and so forth, I couldn't see myself enjoying it. But where we're just fucking about and just not taking anything seriously at all, I just, the mic in Discord seems to work. Are you muted? Right, give me 2 seconds, guys, and we'll start now. Because there you go.
Just tell me when to hit play, basically. Right, Pedz.
Is Jenuall able to speak yet? Why is he muted? He's done it himself, have he?
Looks like it.
Yeah. Because he's definitely not working in the sense of he's not being picked up in there.
No. I'm not seeing the thing flash when he
talks.
talks.
It should flash when he speaks. Something is up. I'm really shocked that Doomer's not taking part in this one simply because it's the Nintendo one, the one he was most looking forward to.
Yeah, or maybe he couldn't wait and he watched it already.
Maybe. What was I going to say? Waiting on Jenuall and then we'll start, guys. I don't understand why he is having issues, though.
Actually, I've just switched to the actual Nintendo one, just quickly. It looks marginally different. It's slightly different time.
Alright, give me a link
So
for
I
it.
can-
Pop it in the thing and I'll click on that now.
I shall do. It's the actual Nintendo YouTube one rather than the GameSpot copy
Alright.
of it.
Cool.
That's all. Just make it more official.
If his mic, I don't. Maybe in the settings, change the mic to the actual mic you're using instead of having it as default.
Maybe his mic stopped working.
Maybe. I think he said, though, that his mic is being picked up in Discord, but I'm just wondering if he changes it to the specific mic instead of default, it'll work.
Oh, right. It's good to know as professional as always.
Well, never said I was professional. I wonder, if it's not working, try closing the app and then restarting it. Maybe that will work? Where's this link, Matt? It's in commentary, is it?
I put it in the whatever it was on last time. Which I think was commentary.
Right, it just says RPM now. At 1 second.
Yeah, it's got the EOS RB rating on.
Right, Jenuall has left. Hopefully he can join now. I don't mind stealing bread. La da dee da la da da. I'm gonna do it at 720 just so it's a little less fucking oomph on my PC while streaming.
Okay.
Jenuall's gone.
I've got no doubt that my
Hello?
internet will completely cut out.
He's lit up!
Oh my god.
Can you hear me?
Can he?
Can we hear you? We can hear you. Which also means we are ready to go. Why is my Twitter thing popping up? It's the message I've been sent to Doom, look. I basically said Matt's a bastard, but Matt already knows that, so.
Harsh.
He says words about himself.
Yeah.
The other day, Matt, live on the podcast, said the C word. It's never been used on the podcast, and it was about himself, I believe.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So, ladies and
I've been
gentlemen.
called worse in the Mario Kart thread, don't worry.
Yeah, mainly by you.
Yeah.
Right. I've got it 1 at 000 seconds. So I'm going to click play. You all click play at the...
Has Jenuall actually seen this, or has he skipped it?
No, this is all fresh to me.
Oh my. Good, because it's all going to be a surprise, and where I'm going to go, amazing. Everyone else is going to, Matt's going to be like, so uninspired, and Jenuall's going to be like, I don't care.
Probably,
Well,
yeah.
the three of us are going in like virgins, so
Ooh,
that's good to know. Yeah.
Right, are we ready to start, guys?
go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, ready? 3, 2, 1.
Oh my god.
I saw games. There's games on the Switch, guys.
Well, that's a good start. It's not real gameplay.
Smash Brothers. It's new Smash character, obviously.
Yeah.
It's
Not
gonna
real
be Ronaldo. They're gonna add a football character in.
Wouldn't put it past them.
There's a horse. No, that's not the sound horses make.
Oh, it's, what's his name from Dragon Quest? Yeah. Monsieur Dragon Quest.
Yes, exactly what Smash needs.
Another anime sword guy!
Mixing it up.
Quite a nice stage though. Oh, wait, that's the...
Reminds me of Trunks. Different colour hair. Different style sword. Still similar to Trunks.
Seriously, it could literally just be one of the Fire Emblem characters, and I wouldn't necessarily know.
I would, because you could clearly see it's Akira Toriyama design.
Oh, right.
As in Dragon Ball Z. Oh, maybe another character? Oh no!
Yeah, they don't look happy, do they?
Oh, it's another Dragon Ball character. I don't know, another Dragon Quest character.
I don't play Smash or Dragon Quest, so this is all nothing for me.
See how Dragon Ball the characters are? I think Jasmine was saying before that Akira Toriyama took piss out of himself, saying he only does one design. He can only draw one style, in his own words, like.
So I'm assuming these are all just alternate costumes for the same fighter.
It's gotta be, haven't it? It can't be four separate cats. It's probably not four separate cats. What's it called? Shadow Echo Fighters. That's the one.
Oh, that's the thing. Yeah, that makes sense.
Bum ba bum. Perry, well, from Kevin and Perry.
Well, that was something.
Then again, that could be the four other characters in the season pass. That's all 5 characters launched. Sorted.
Yeah, well, at least it's linking with the new game.
The game that's actually coming to the system, unlike Joker. Technically, I think he is actually coming to the system, just in like some kind of weird spin-off version of the game.
I still think that's a really weird inclusion.
I think it wouldn't have been so
They've only
bad.
ever done things like that before, where it's been actually in a game on the system. Is he the first anomaly?
Yeah, I think so, basically.
Cheeky Joker.
But yeah, I do believe that it's as simple as I don't know, maybe he's popular or something, and that's why Nintendo went with him.
As good a reason as any.
Hello.
Konnichiwa. See, I can speak Japanese too. Pugs, do you want to be a character in Smash Brothers? You'd be more interested than Anime Soul Fighter number 75.
It must be the Reggie replacement.
No, he's got the wrong accent. Because if it's sunshine, at least they knew not to make fun of the name.
Comedy's all about timing.
Yeah. And funny surnames like Booty.
Why is it juddery on the stream?
Do you get the feeling they're not actually in the same room?
The magic. Of Greek.
Eee. Oh, this is looking nice.
Guys, is the stream looking juddery to you on the actual stream?
Be quiet, Pedz. It's Luigi's Mansion 3.
It looks fine to me.
It looks like it's taking.
It's just on OBS. That's okay.
From last time.
Well, yeah, the last time we saw Luigi's Mansion involving a ghost, he was a ghost because he got killed by death.
Does look nice.
See, why is that not one of his smash moves?
I don't know. I'm a bit behind you because I paused it, tried to sort out the thing.
What?
I'm on the slam function.
Yeah.
Suction shot.
Ooh.
Neat. Shame he's not Wario, because otherwise we all know how that would work.
Hey, look, see God.
Alright, so I reckon this is
Luigi.
co-op.
Luigi.
Because I think Luigi is in the Luigi's 1 3DS port, because they added co-op to it.
Oh, right. I didn't know that.
Okay.
Oh, it's a multiplayer mode.
Yeah, that was in Luigi's Mansion 2 as well.
Yeah, but it seems like there's more. Or maybe it's the Luigi's as well as Luigi's there that I can see.
He said 8 players, so
Yeah, it's 8 of them.
I think it's only max 4 and 2. From what I remember.
But you can't play with friends, only random people online. Hey, Matt, how you doing, dude?
I'm actually getting a little bit aroused.
It looks more interesting to me than Luigi Mansion 2. Luigi Mansion 2 has a bit, I don't know, I think the split mansions lessened it for me than having one cohesive area. Though Luigi's Mansion was very short, if memory serves.
Why don't they just... put a date on
2019. Nice.
Excellent. That looks like it's come on quite a nice step since last time.
Yeah.
It was
Last time it
looking
looked like a
bit rough.
3DS game.
It did look a bit like a 3DS game at a higher resolution, whereas that looks lovely.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that one.
Yeah. I wonder if there's going to be any, hey, this game's available now. Animal Crossing they should do that with. I'd buy it right now, I would. And I'd just do some fishing.
Everyone seems to do the "and you can get it now" move these days.
Netflix.
Ooh. What is this?
The Netflix show or Netflix involved in games now? Fuck me, that genuinely looks like something out of Labyrinth.
It's got that quality.
It looks like one of the goblins at Labyrinth. As in, with David Bowie and his huge bulge.
Yeah. Something horrifically disturbing about that, and not just the puppet. Oh, Jim Henson's. Okay. It's a game based on the...
it's a Zelda game, and that's Zelda after a curse.
This is... No. Well, you say that because...
Zelda! I don't need to see much of this. I'm already getting the game. I'm sold. I'm sold on it already. I love the look of the game. I know a lot of people are not that keen. I think it looks nice. It just looks like a nice little toy version of the game, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
It's beautiful.
I just love the sort of tilt shift effect they've got going on.
Yeah, I thought that raccoon was supposed to be orange.
And the music sounds like it's got a really nice, gorgeous update as well.
Be interesting to see how faithful they stay.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that it's got 2 different buttons you can use for items means that the quality of life is already, like, so much better than the original.
Yeah. I think that's the thing with games like Super Metroid. People are like, oh, I want to remake a remake. Apart from a couple of quality of life things, I don't think they need remakes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think this needed a remake. A couple of quality of life improvements, sure. But I'm not going to complain about this having a remake compared to, like, a remaster of a game from 3 years ago, if you know what I mean. This is, like, what, 20-odd years old?
Okay.
Ooh, interesting.
Dungeon Maker.
Added a dungeon maker. They've added a dungeon maker.
Nice.
That's quite cool.
This is
nice little
the beginning of the Legend of Zelda Maker.
Could be. It looks like this. It looks a bit almost like they've got like preset rooms that you just put together, so you don't necessarily design the interiors of the room. Oh, it looks so fucking gorgeous, though.
Oh, here he goes.
See you later, Carl. Hope you can get home in time to tune back in, man. September 20th? Oh, well, I'm pre-ordering it right now. Bought.
Excellent. I mean, I was already getting that, and that is... Unless they do something catastrophic to it, that's going to probably hands down be my favourite 2D Zelda game, so...
Square Enix game.
Yeah, what's this then?
Dragon Quest.
It's probably another Tom Clancy game.
Oh, poor Charlotte. Is that Trials of Mana?
I think that's what they said, Trials of Mana.
Of Nana.
Might have been Nana. Maybe the character's name is Nana.
Trials of Mana.
No.
Mana,
Is that like some kind of follow-up to Secret of Mana? Is it Secret of Mana? With who plays the guy with the sword?
Well,
the guy with the sword.
Yeah,
Narrows it down.
Secret of Mana. It's just come up there.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Trials of Mana. Yeah. So you're getting all the games then.
Nice.
Collection of Mana.
Ooh, I might get that. I will get that.
Ooh,
You'll get it. You just won't ever play it.
I'm
this
not
Witcher?
Jawa. I'll at least play you for 5 minutes. No,
Is
I
this
probably
Witcher?
won't ever play it.
Holy crap!
They've
the
done
rules
it.
were
They've
real.
actually done it.
How
They've actually put The Witcher on. Well,
It looks
How
awful,
have they done that?
but they've done it. That's incredible.
Admittedly, the battery life is probably about 5 minutes or something, but
it looks like a massive downgrade to what I'm used to seeing on other people's
yeah.
stuff. But for people to just giving people who only have a Switch the opportunity to play is great. Like,
Oh, there'll be people that will they'll double dip on that.
Oh yeah.
Easy.
yeah, well they do. Look at all the people who's bought like Skyrim more than once.
Or 6 times.
Yeah, I think I bought it twice. I think I got the VR version of it as well. Oh no, I bought it on PC and.
Is this the Harry Potter Fire Emblem game?
Yeah, I believe so. This is Fire Potter, Harry Emblem,
Harry Emblem.
Harry Emblem. I always call Harry Potter Harry Pooper. See. I don't know. This seems like a less interesting one to me, with having to choose like a specific student to play with. I'd rather just have like one focused thing. It's like the last one where there was 3 of them. 3 games for 3 stories. I was just like, I'll stick with Awakening.
I think it's very ambitious to do what they did last time. It's not exactly user friendly or consumer friendly.
Thank you for keeping Mum on the spoilers. I think they have shown gameplay of Fire Emblem in previous Direct.
Yeah, they did, I think.
I think it's got 2 styles of gameplay as well, haven't they? One where you can see like the battles. Where you see the battles, it looks like it's more of a army than just like 4 people versus 20 people. Or am I just misremembering that?
Resi. Okay. What Resi?
Is this new Resi?
I mean, it's not beyond possibility that Capcom might announce an exclusive Resi game for a Nintendo console. Whether or not it stays an exclusive Resi game for a Nintendo console is a different matter. Well, at least this isn't CGI.
People have moved on from playing Switch on the top of top of apartment buildings,
Yeah.
and then they go to ghost houses.
Alright, so is it right, it's
Remake. Makes sense with the haunted house.
Yeah.
Can you open the door? Well, yeah. I was happy enough with it on the GameCube.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those games that's just going to be ported everywhere, so it's not that exciting.
Yeah.
As an announcement.
No.
I mean, we just Resi 4 has just come out on it, isn't it? So.
Yeah, I refuse to buy Resi 4 again as well. To be honest, Resi 4 peaked for me with the Wii version.
Oh god.
Oh my fucking god, Resi 5.
Oh god.
Resi 6.
Jasm.
Jasm just got an erection.
21 times.
21 times. Yeah, that was funny. That was also the game that everyone bullied him for drinking beer with ice in it. Bullies. The left Joy-Con is drifting, must be possessed, or it's just a typical Switch.
Mm.
All right.
Okay.
Well, that was unexpected. And also, I didn't expect a Star Wars reference.
No, me neither. Oh my bloody hell.
Travis! Oh, it is, yeah. No more heroes.
Okay.
Stop licking my foot, dog!
That looks really nice.
The second one didn't do very well, though, did it?
Nor did the minigame thingy that they put out.
People probably wanted a specific sequel, like.
Okay, so what is this an actual No More Heroes?
A
Is this
real
three?
sequel.
It's three? It's three.
It's gotta be, haven't it?
Okay, there we go.
It is. Now I need to finish
Well,
the first
well-
one and play the second one. Ugh.
Well,
Thanks for
guess
making more
enough
games for me to
people
play, you
bought
bastards.
No More Heroes party mode because they tried to hold everyone to ransom over that.
No More Heroes Royale. That's
Still, that's
basically
really cool.
99. Yeah, it might be really cool.
And unexpected.
Yeah. What's this one?
And this looks complete gash.
Yeah, what is this?
This looks worse than the downgraded version of The Witcher.
Yeah, but let's be fair. You can be a panda with a gun. That's pretty cool.
Was that the panda that was in the Ubisoft conference last night?
Yeah, and the one from in Tech and guess everywhere.
This looks like a mobile game.
It does.
Might be. I think the Switch is comfortably one of the consoles that may get more mobile ports. Like, yes, like Bethesda was saying, hey, look, this is coming to Switch. Yay!
Oh yeah, they put fucking blades on it or something. Haven't
Yeah.
They? Oh god. What the fuck? That's a name I did not expect to see at the end of
Contra? That looked... No,
Yeah, how is that
no,
Contra?
that is not Contra. No.
that.
No.
Oh, well, you're going to like the next bit though.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm getting that. On PC.
Jasmine just had an enormous thing.
Controversial.
Okay.
Contra shit.
Now this looks
I played the demo thing they put out a while back for this, and it's pretty good.
yeah, the
It was,
performance.
it was a bit rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Although
looks
this is looking
alright,
smoother.
but I don't know. Seems a bit more to it than just mech stuff, then.
Hmm.
He just
Well,
threw
I
his
think
sword.
it's mainly
How
mech.
dull that is? How is he? If he haven't got force, he's now got no sword to kill things with.
Just chucks
Contra
it
looked fucking awful, Jawa. You're banned. Ban him, Graham.
away.
Hi, Joel.
It also just didn't look like a Contra game. It looked like
yeah.
a completely different type of game. No,
Was that
that was.
September?
It also
That's
looked
pretty soon.
genuinely bad. It looked like a mobile game.
Yeah, it looked awful.
What was this? Panzer Dragoon?
Oh, it's gotta be Panzer Dragoon. Please be fucking Saga. I
it
never
is.
played that.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh,
I've never
my
played
penis
any of
is
them.
ready.
Yes.
I got Auto on the Xbox One. I haven't played it yet.
See, when everyone goes on about Rez is just a poor man's Panzer Dragoon.
Sorry. Graham timed out Jawa.
Well done, Grum.
Mad with power. Nice.
Wow.
It's cool seeing
Yeah.
Panzer Dragoon come back.
It didn't look bad either, to be honest.
I would like to play Saga because I believe it's like a big like RPG like game, and it sounds really interesting. It's just I think like all the code was lost.
Yeah.
Right, all I want to see, start Pokemon evolutions. That's it. I actually want to pick a Pokemon starter that I don't hate after it evolves the first time. Perfect sheep.
Sheep all the way.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm Welsh, of course I'm going to like the sheep.
Maybe when the sheep evolves, it grows another body and it's attached to behind it.
Oh, my Pokeball Plus will work with it, eh?
Something good might happen. Great.
If you spend time shaking your ball, something good might happen.
Nessa, she's obviously Welsh.
Oh, you just got wet. I was on about the rabbit that got splashed. Pokemon Go, some kind of thing. No. Okay, he did shift gears.
This is clearly the Tom Clancy Pokemon game.
I'd be interested in that. I like Tom Clancy games.
Oh, is this the monolith thing?
No, this is the thing that I think everyone thought was a monolith thing.
Oh yeah. no,
Yeah,
that's right.
cross
And it's
something.
the,
Alpha Centauri.
Oh, what's it face?
Yeah, that's the one.
Alpha Lash. I can't remember what it's called.
Is it
No.
the Bayonetta bloke, but not the same team or something? I can't remember.
Larry Bullbag.
Or is it Platinum? Is it Platinum?
Platinum game, yeah.
It looks platinum, doesn't it?
Yeah.
No. What is it called?
Guys, what's it called? Stop being mean.
Mark.
It obviously made a great impression last time.
I pre-ordered the game and everything.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah, it did.
Crosscode. Astral Chain.
There we
That's the
go.
thing.
Yeah, I remember that before you barely said anything. And you got no proof of it otherwise. Crosscode was the game I was looking at yesterday. That looks really cool. SNES looking game.
Okay. This is looking cool.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
the look of this.
If a bit melodramatic with the voice acting.
Graphics look nice as well.
Yeah. I think one thing about games is with graphics, if they go for the artistic style can really make a game on a weaker console appear better than something if they go for something realistic, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, totally.
The artistry really can make a game in a visual aspect, not in a gameplay way, obviously. That would be stupid.
Prime's out this year as well.
Yeah, so August 30th,
Oh, nice.
2019. I've got it pre-ordered. I'm going to have to cancel some pre-orders. Can't afford them all. Oh my god, it's a reverse game. It's a game where everything goes in reverse. Romero. I try to think.
Is that as in like
John Romero.
Doom?
Yeah.
Doom Romero? Or is that just okay, I don't think he made this game.
Okay, this is like a
Gangster XCOM.
gangster game, yeah.
Hang on a sec.
Interesting.
Empire of Sin
That
2020.
looks like a game I would possibly play on my PC.
I'm not going to lie to you, right? I was shocked. Do you know what I was shocked about?
What?
Octopath Traveler's on PC, and it's like nearly 50 quid. It's like 40 odd quid. What a fucking piss take.
It's pretty expensive on the Switch as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but that's the Switch. It's expected.
Yeah.
Hey, look, it's
Looks better than
Magneto. Hey, look, it's a big guy.
This looks better than the other Avengers.
Hey, Smiles. I actually didn't mind the Avengers game, and a lot of people were whinging about the characters looking generic and stuff, and I was like, well, they're just white dudes. What do you expect them to look like? Unless you really change the design, that's what they're going to look like.
Well,
You
they
know?
did look like, create your own character kind of guys, rather than, someone put time and effort into those, apparently.
I've never played an Ultimate Alliance game. I've got 1 and 2 on PC, I think. So I might have to give them a bash. Those are good fun in co-op as well. Looks good. Looks better than when I last saw it. The game is out yet, is it? Is the expansion pass already?
Of course.
I did see a leak about this supposedly being around like $25. I'm not paying that for it.
No.
I'll wait till it's on offer or something.
I need to find out if I'm actually going to enjoy this. That's the thing.
Well, as long as you like rhythm games.
Like, because obviously I'd be weathering it for the Zelda, but
People seem to really like Crypt of the Necrodancer.
It is a good
yeah,
game,
I
and there's some
just
fucking
bought it
great
for, like,
music as
£2
well.
on Steam.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. Unexpected. I didn't know the Olympics was any time soon. That's why.
It's this year, isn't it?
Is
I don't
it?
follow any sports stuff, to be honest with you.
Or is it next year? Yeah, it's next year.
Please show
Tokyo
Waluigi
2020, I
face
think.
planting something
Yeah,
so I can
2020.
kick him in the face.
Tails can't beat
Yeah.
anyone up.
There's what? Whoa, was that?
Oh,
That was
8-bit.
Yeah. Okay. There's a distinct lack of Wario so far. Oh, there he is.
These seem to do quite well, these Mario and Sonic games, so I'm sure it'll be decent.
Well, they're alright for a bit of throwaway party fun, so to speak, but Tokyo 2020 is a Jawa. Hey, how are you backing you? Ban him again, Grum.
Nook Inc.
Oh, gotta be Nook Inc. Gotta be Animal Crossing. Don't tell me we gotta run a fucking airport now.
Here we go.
Oh.
That doesn't look like me. I haven't got blue eyes.
Well,
She's going to break that flimsy axe if she's not careful.
Sting her in the face.
okay, they've definitely overhauled the visual style, haven't they?
Yeah.
Look at that water.
Does look really nice.
Oh, I can't wait to get this. I'm getting a Switch for the missus just for this game. Oh, just see the way you got across the river, the stream, whatever you want to call it.
You can't do that in Zelda. Fucking hell.
No, you have to swim and then drown because you can't swim very far. Online!
Horizons.
Better be fucking good online.
March 20. 2012, 2020, 2020.
Oh, I thought it'd be this year.
Ah,
That's really disappointing.
That is a shame.
Itemized
shame.
bill. You bastard, Tom.
Yeah, you did.
I'm alright though. I've got enough games to play.
I haven't. Give me fucking Animal Crossing now.
We've got to look forward to it. It's not coming out yet.
Stop using facts and logic.
It's going to be interesting to know what they do with the various systems in it as well, though. Like, how is online going to work?
I like I said, what I would have liked is your own little village, and then a connected big massive server for like a dedicated a server you could set up which like 10 people or 20 people would share, and then you could all go on there and do stuff. It would be really cool, but it's not gonna happen. It'll probably be the same where you get your dream state or whatever the fuck it was called from the last game. No Nikuni. I've got number 2. I haven't played number 1.
Oh, Microsoft.
Minecraft Dungeons. I'm willing to give that a try on the Xbox because I got Game Pass.
Oh, God. Elder Scrolls Blades.
Oh, there it is. What we've all been waiting for.
Oh, yeah, that My Friend Pedro thing looks
Yeah, I really like look at that, yeah.
Yeah. Doom.
Yay, Doom! Not getting on the Switch, PC.
No one's going to get on the Switch if they've got another option.
No.
Sinking City?
No one with any sense.
Frogwares? Who are Frogwares?
No idea. Wolfenstein? I like Wolfenstein. I need to play more of them. Cock!
Yeah, I wouldn't done one.
Blimey.
Alien Isolation!
Oh, Alien.
Unexpected! Very
Yes.
unexpected.
Oh, Crystal
Oh,
Chronicles.
Crystal Chronicles.
Pretty
guys,
fucking ropey.
That's a
Yeah,
game I
what's
want to
going on
get
there?
and actually finish. Hey, look, it's Dragon Quest again. I think it looks nice, though. Nice,
it does
like,
look
art style to it, like.
No idea.
Life is Strange, Season 3 game.
Oh, Just Dance. Brilliant. Where's the panda?
Oh. Catan, no interest. I think I've got a PC version of the game. I don't know if it's the same one, but it's a
Oh
version
my
of the
god.
game. Super Lucky's Tale.
Lucky's Tale.
Hey,
Isn't
it's
that
on
the
Game
game
Pass.
That, like, they launched the Xbox One X with or something.
I think it came out like a year or 2 ago, didn't it? Oh, Xbox One X, my bad. Sorry.
Oh.
Super Mario Maker.
Is this all we're going to get
2.
from Mario Maker?
I
don't
don't
expect
think
it to
we'll
take up
see
a lot
anything.
because
No.
it's almost
That boss
already
was
out.
really cool. That was in the first game.
Okay. Is this Smash again?
More Smash?
Okay, DK.
DK.
New DK character coming to Smash then.
What was that?
Oh, hello.
That was something gold.
That was a jingle.
was.
Jingle. Jenga.
That was
Jinjo.
not a Jingo. It was not a Jinjo.
I don't know what they're called.
That, I know that shadow though.
Oh, hello.
Kazooie.
Ooh.
It will be them, won't it?
It's obviously gonna, yeah. Please don't be the nuts and bolts model. Please don't be the nuts and bolts version.
nuts
It's
and bolts,
not.
Come on.
It looks more like,
Raring to go, like it.
I have to admit, they look really weird.
What's going on with the eyes?
We've always had eyes a bit like that.
Just looks creepier now, I think.
Wow. It's like, it's everything I could have hoped for, but at the same time, doesn't look like the thing I hoped for.
Well, people wanted Banjo. So maybe the spoiler was actually Banjo coming to that I saw was Smash, not Switch. I just saw S. I assumed it was Switch. And that was while we were live, like I saw that.
It's not
That'd be
making
awesome. I mean, maybe there will be a Banjo game on the Switch.
There'll be a separate Banjo game in Smash Brothers.
All right, I might get Smash Brothers now.
I still probably won't play it for ages. I don't know. All right.
That's good to know.
Ah, okay, it's the end then.
Oh, one more thing.
Size of his penis?
Oh, okay.
New electroplankton.
Looks that way, doesn't it?
Oh,
Oh,
right.
Hold on.
I know what
Please
it is.
be
Zelda.
It's a
Breath
new
of the
Zelda.
Wild
Yeah. that's
/
gotta
Majora's Mask.
be- Oh, yeah. Looks nice.
Okay.
Freaky.
Ruby.
Right.
I like it. If the moon comes in the sky for some reason now, then I'm
That
going to
would
be a
be-
happy bunny. If the moon appears in the sky, not if the moon comes in the sky, that's just weird.
What's happening to the
Okay.
castle?
The cast just looked
So
like it was
is
taken
this-
off.
It's now in
No,
development.
it's
Oh.
a straight sequel, which is a bit weird.
Okay, good to know though.
Maybe you don't fight
Yeah.
Ganon in this. Maybe you fight Vati or someone.
Right.
There we go.
Well, that's going to be interesting to know how that works. Because if it's a straight sequel, does that mean it's the same world?
Looks
And if
that
it's
way.
the same world, is it like literally just more stuff that they put into the same world?
Yeah.
Well, I
They-
don't know, because at the end of the day, it could be as simple as something like it's the same world, or it could be something happens where they take into a different world because the castle was maybe they end up in low rule or something. The castle flips and they end up in low rule. Some
But
stupid.
that's what I mean. It's interesting to try and work out, or at least when we find out eventually, what that means.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
It
exactly.
clearly
Same
showed
with-
Hyrule as it was in Breath of the Wild, and does that mean that they're just going to effectively copy and paste the map and just fill it with a new story and new objectives, or is it that that's just a brief glimpse of it because that's where Link is at that moment before it all goes to whatever he ends up in Terminia or whatever?
Yeah, I hope that happens.
To be honest, I kind of don't. I'd rather that he just went somewhere new that was, that kind of something like that.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough, but I would like them to, go there and do
I mean, it could be given
redo
that they're
Termina,
working
because it's
on,
only been in one game, like, it's not like Hyrule that's in like 95% of the games.
Yeah, but like given that they're doing the Link's Awakening remake, it would kind of make sense because in a way, Link's Awakening is that like surreal offshoot of a game that was already made,
Yeah.
and this could be their kind of surreal offshoot of Breath of the Wild. If that makes sense.
Hmm.
In the way that Majora's Mask was that surreal offshoot of Ocarina of Time. So.
Yeah.
Honestly, as long as they've got if it is something like Majora's Mask, they need to have Majora's Mask, obviously, and they need to have the best character in the game, which is Hand in Toilet.
Yeah.
And you need to fight
I
him.
mean,
What was it, toilet roll?
Hand in Toilet was in Skyward Sword as well. So
Yeah?
yeah,
I don't remember that. My
I'm
memory's
pretty sure
awful,
it
though.
was.
I'm not saying you're
Sure it
wrong, I'm
was.
just saying I don't remember. My memory's crap with a lot of things.
I'm pretty sure there
be
was.
fair.
There was definitely something to do with the toilet. I remember that.
Maybe Link went to the toilet, and then a hand went up his butt. Can you imagine going to the toilet and the hand just goes... Yeah, well, I've put the...
Nintendo E3, everyone.
That was Nintendo's E3, and I was actually quite impressed with some of the stuff I saw. Could
That
there
was
have
good,
been
I
more? Well, probably, but what I saw was good enough for me.
Stop to really dwell on anything.
No, it's
Like-
pretty quick pace, wasn't it?
I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously things like that Smash had quite prolonged videos, but that's because they always have long cinematics to introduce everything.
Yeah.
But other than that, they went game to game really quickly.
See, overall, the E3, I've actually quite enjoyed it. I know most people are down on it because it's like, I don't know what people want in games nowadays. It's like nothing people do is ever good enough anymore. And that's how it comes across to me with most people whinging about everything. Like everything, any big game that was announced, people are like, oh! It's
I
like,
would say
well,
the one thing
come
that I
on.
think, like, I mean, there's some nice surprises in there. Like the No More Heroes 3 and obviously Breath of the Wild 2 is quite a big surprise. I mean, I had this feeling that it was the right time for us to hear about the next Zelda, but I didn't know what form that was going to take, and whether or not it was just like, oh, here's a bit of concept for art. We are making another Zelda, because they've done that before. So to see something fairly substantial was good.
Yeah, I thought we were going to get a Prime 4 logo style.
Yeah.
It exists, but you're not seeing anything of it.
Yeah.
Like, when we saw Metro Prime 4, Metro Prime 4 logo, and that was it. It's like,
exactly. That's still the only thing we've seen.
I know. The thing is, though, is I get why they did it at the time, because people have been clamoring for years and like, fine, we are doing it. But clearly it was still too early to do it. It's like Nintendo, I found, usually don't announce things in general too long before it's coming out. Yeah. But recently they've started again showing things a bit too early with like Metroid 4. Zelda it just says it's currently in development. So how many years are we going to be waiting for it?
I don't know. Clearly they're building on Breath of the Wild, aren't they? So they
I can't imagine it's going to be a wait as long as it was.
It's got to be a good few years, or you'd think, because
if
it's the same world, then you wouldn't think as much.
Yeah, and also you got like Breath of the Wild was probably fairly complete for quite a while.
Yeah,
exactly. Imagine they spent a lot of time just trying to polish and optimize it.
They spent a lot of time not bothering polishing and optimizing, just porting it to the Switch. And then going, we'll just update it later. Don't worry about when the frame rate tanks to minus fucking numbers. We'll just make people deal with it. That's the one thing that I will say about Zelda Breath of the Wild in general. It wasn't a complete mess or anything, but it was less optimized than what I'm used to from Nintendo.
Yeah. It was really weird how specific the frame rate dips were when you were fighting a moblin. As if there was something inherently wrong with the moblin design that was causing it, and you just sort of thought, why have they not just changed the design? You know?
Yeah, something up there, especially when I found fighting a moblin in the snowy areas was the worst.
Yeah.
You know?
It was weird.
I can't remember the name of the area, but it's like the top left snow area.
The Hebra Mountains.
Yeah, I remember fighting something there, and I literally thought the game had crashed because it was frozen for so long, and then it started again. I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, I think I should have clipped it really because I was streaming at the time, but I didn't.
Was that on Switch? Because wasn't it even worse on Wii U?
Wii U, I think, was supposed to be worse again. Yeah.
Yeah, literally unplayable.
Matt, how did you cope?
I had to. I had to.
It was worth it.
The thing is, it's a great.
My superior Wii U gamepad.
Breath of the Wild is probably is definitely an amazing game, and I think the only thing that I would like in like a sequel would be proper dungeons. I think I've said this before. Proper dungeons would escalate it to best game ever, probably, maybe, who knows. But I find that where you've got the go anyway to everything, you've already got your everything you need from the offset. It kind of makes dungeons redundant because a lot of the dungeons is working out what to do with the stuff you collect along the way. And if you've already got everything from the get-go.
Yeah, how do you incorporate dungeons into that more open style game that they've got going on now? Because it is a very different situation.
Yeah, they could still do the whole dungeon atmosphere and stuff, but they just have to... I think they'd have to put a lot of thought into how the dungeon puzzles would work. And maybe there's specific mechanics and items you use in those dungeons that are only in those dungeons, not out in the world.
Yeah.
That way, then, they could still have the dungeons like they used to.
Divine Beasts were really interesting. But yeah, I think because they all look the same.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's
and like,
similar sorts of challenges in there. And they weren't massive. It kind of, you just felt you just needed a little bit more dungeon style stuff.
They took about as long as it takes you to do the Deku tree or something.
Yes.
You know, they were interesting, like from a design perspective, because like some of the environmental manipulation in that stuff is really good. The electric one is fucking mind-boggling when you start to put it together.
Yeah, I like that one, except for the boss, because for ages I was like trying to kill the boss. I was like, why can't I do it? And then I realized you meant to do something like grab the electric rod, the metal rods, and just move it up the guy. And I was like, why the fuck didn't I think of that? I think I spent like 5 hours on the boss and like half that on all the divine beasts put together.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think like my biggest hope for Breath of the Wild 2 would be, I mean, I kind of hope the world is a bit smaller so they can pack things together and make it more dense. I hope they give some of the systems an overhaul, because I do think the combat suffers quite a bit when you start to put things together, like the ability to just pause the game and have an almost infinite supply of health wherever you are. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, some people like me didn't do that, so for me it wouldn't be a problem, because I never did that. I never paused in the middle of a fight to just eat if I'm starting to lose health, which is stupid because I would have done it if it was a portion or something. But you are right. If you're in the middle of a fight, you just constantly pause and eating food, healing.
I'm pretty certain I'm right in saying that there's a mechanic in the game where if you've got full health, no matter what hits you, even if the total damage should kill you in one hit, you will always have a quarter of a heart left. I think there is. It's to prevent like strong enemies from one hit killing you particularly early on in the game, so that you've always got at least kind of like one mistake or one accident to warn you that this is really bad. And it's quite a clever little safety net, actually. But the problem is that effectively means that as soon as you hit to that quarter heart, all you've got to do is keep topping your health up to max, and you will never die. Ever.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Obviously, they need to look at that. Maybe make it so you can only use a certain amount of items per fight or something.
Yeah.
Or make it that when you eat, you actually have to eat. So eating...
Like Link sits down and gets out a knife and fork.
No, he like just quickly like just like it's Sea of Thieves where you just kind of that thing. Yeah. So while you're doing you're getting hit, and it might stop you from
That's one of the big problems, because it happens in the pause menu. It's not like in like Dark Souls or something where you have to stop and actually drink the Estus flask in the middle of a fight. That's one of the big problems in it. I mean, that's just, you know.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying completely.
Reward bit in there.
Yeah, no, that actually, I agree. It would be something they could look up.
I mean, like in other Zelda games, when you were running around with a potion or something, like quite often the game would pause when he drank it, but you did have to have it as a selectable item and then select it. So you were in the middle of the game and then had to sort of.
And also, you would be able to carry what, up to 4?
yeah, and it would limit the other
Yes.
items that you were able to use at any given moment. So it was kind of like a choice you had to make of if you wanted to have a potion on you, it meant you couldn't necessarily have your bow and your bombs and whatever you wanted on you at that moment. So yeah, that's something I think they need to think about. They also need to give the entire fucking like HUD UI thing an overhaul, because the weapon
Yes.
selecting was such a pain in the ass once you've got like max weapons.
Couldn't
Yeah.
you
But
sort weapons? Like, press a button to sort them?
don't
You could if you
fix-
brought up the main menu and paused the game, but if you were using the quick select, it's like scrolling back and forth. You couldn't see them all. It needed to be a wheel. For some reason, they never did that. Like, it was weird. I just assumed that it was going to change into maybe a grid or something, but from like early on when there was like you just had a few slots and it was a line, I just thought it would turn into something easily, but it just kept being a line where half of the items you can never see at any given.
Weapon durability. Ubellion is asking, how do you guys feel about weapon durability and how that can be improved in the sequel? I think I think item durability for me is more of an issue early on in the game. As you get further into the game, it's less of a problem because you're constantly picking up decent weapons and switching between them. I think one thing it does add is making you play with a bit more variety, as most people would just pick up a good sword and use that good sword constantly. But at the same time, I think Matt said, and a lot of other people have said, is a lot of the time you don't even need to fight. You just fucking walk off, and you don't need to do anything anyway. So,
like to me, there's like Breath of the Wild needed that durability. It needed that because it facilitates so much of everything else. It makes you have to go and look for things. It means that you're constantly changing things. It means you're always on your toes in a fight, because it means you have to your item might change because it breaks or because you throw it away or whatever. And it's really important. But a bit like Pedz said, what I'm going to add to it is that I think there's a problem kind of early on in the game when you're getting used to it, and maybe early on things broke a little bit too quickly. But then there's a catch to that, in that what you get used to it, like Pedz says, but then towards the end of the game, when everything you find is just replacing the things you've already got, it makes all of the different enemy encampments just utterly pointless to go and do, beyond the fun of beating them up, which is great as long as they're not moblins and the game doesn't run at 5 frames per second.
I believe there was someone on the forum, I think I know who it is, who was actually saying that with the encampments and things, they believed that there wasn't enough reward for doing them, so there was no incentive to go there. I'm pretty sure the person who said it when I was reading recently had a lot of stick for saying it, and that the fun is supposed to be the whole point. But it's like the rewards were a bit weak for doing the encampments and stuff. I'm pretty sure that was actually Jenuall who was saying that.
It might well have been me.
I think he has a point in that. And I think this also comes back to kind of what I was saying, maybe about the sheer size of the game, is that means that there's a lot of enemy encampments that, frankly, you never have to even think about doing.
Yeah.
You kind of just reach a point where the reward you're going to get is just going to replace the thing that you're going to break by doing it.
Yes.
So why do it? And yes, it can be fun to beat them up if you just want to beat them up, but then that's like, it might be fun to just climb this tree, so I'll climb this tree, or something like, it's fun if that's just what you want to do. But if you're trying to actually progress in the game and trying to spend your time finding new things to do in the game, then spending all your time in the doing the enemy encampments is just a waste of your time.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
I think because one of the things my style in the game developed was I spot an encampment and just avoid it. It's it's going to offer me nothing. I'm going to gain nothing by going there. Yes, it might. It could be fun and interesting to take out all the people there, but after doing it, I've not progressed anywhere beyond where I was, and it's taken time. it's fun, and there are some really fun mechanics with the encounters, and you think oh, actually I'll try, there's some metal crates over there, I'll try using magnesis or whatever it's called to drop those on someone's head, and like try and mix it up a bit, and all of that is great. And jump in the air, do the slow-mo bow and arrow, which is all I think the core mechanics of the fighting is fun, but often it feels like, well, I don't need to do it, and why would I do it? And I think it's finding a way to how can you incentivize that a bit more.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that because of the amount of enemies, and again because of the size of the world, whilst the enemy encampments give you a reliable place to have fights, there's enough combat to do elsewhere that if you just want to fight things, you're still going to find things to fight if you don't bother with an enemy encampment.
I think early on, bothering with the encampments is a good thing in a way, because you get rupees and stuff, so it adds to you being able to buy things. Like you betting saying, maybe there should be a set of items unique to enemy encampments, weapons and armor that can't be obtained elsewhere. Something like that would be a lot more interesting. I believe when you when Jenuall was talking about it the other day, I'm not sure if it was Jenuall who said it, but someone then kind of agreed with him about that aspect. That maybe the Korok seeds, some of them could be in the encampment chests.
Yeah.
So there's an actual reward, because you could go into an encampment, kill the moblins or the bokoblins or whatever there. And you could end up with gear that they drop, which is worse than what you've just used and broken, and then you get 20 rupees.
Yeah.
It's like
that's the core problem with it. Is it? Yeah. I think Korok seeds could be one. But I think the problem is there's a lot of scope to the game, but there's a lot of systems, but nothing has. It's kind of wrong to say it hasn't got depth, because it has, but there's no progression. So with obviously some of the slate powers kind of have a second tier, and you can upgrade them. But if I don't want to turn it into like some RPG with tons of like upgrade paths and all that, but if there was just something tangible that you've got, it's like, okay, now by doing this encampment, which was really hard, I've got something that makes my all of my swords last twice as long durability wise, or just something that feels like that I've done that, and now it's it's changed my game in some way that's a bit more than just give me a bundle of arrows, or I think the sort of getting a bundle of like bomb arrows was kind of one of the most disappointing things doing. It's like, I don't need bomb. I've got a power that gives me infinite bombs. I don't need bomb arrows, but yeah, I think I do appreciate it. It's hard to, how would you balance that kind of change with the rest of the game, and you don't want to make it into a Ubisoft style, go off and do all of the encampments and tick all the boxes off, because that isn't great. But
it'd be good if
you
you came across like a one encampment early on in the game, and there was like a letter on a table or something that said such and such, not only the exact encampments, but 20 encampments have this certain thing. So until you find those 20 encampments with those specific things, then you do the encampments. And then once you've done that, you don't need to do them. So there's a little bit of a more of a reward. But like you said, it's not Ubisoft then, where you have to do everything.
Yeah.
They added all the like armor upgrade things, and a lot of that, from what I remember, was a bit like it was kind of like farming for specific drops from specific enemies, and like that could have been something where they had very rare crafting elements that could have been in the enemy encampments. The Korok seeds is quite a good one. There are way too many in the game, but that's partly because the game is massive. But yeah, no, I do agree, and I remember reading your post. I actually meant to reply to it, but I'd say that I agreed with quite a lot. You're very right about the progression in the game. Is that there is this, for me anyway, there is this brilliant opening section where you have very little options available to you in terms of what you think you can do. But it turns out, because of the way that the various systems work and stuff like making a bridge out of a tree and etc., that you can get very creative with what little you've got. And then kind of once you get off the plateau, and you've got the glider, it feels amazing to suddenly be let loose in this world. But after a little bit, you begin to realise that, in a way, that's all that is for the rest of the game. It kind of flattens at that point,
Yes.
and it doesn't mean that it's not necessarily enjoyable, but it kind of ceases to be quite as interesting, apart from maybe some very few select moments, because it becomes kind of apparent how you don't need to make a bridge out of trees anymore, because you can just use the ice thing to keep on building stepping stones, or even you don't even need to do that sometimes because you've got the glider, which means you can just jump off something high and glide to where you want to go to.
Yeah.
It becomes a bit like,
Yeah. And it which is, it's a very hard problem to solve, because I think at the start it's really annoying because, I can't just swim across this fairly small lake because for some reason Link can only swim for 10 seconds or whatever, or I can't climb up there because he's going to slide off the wall after fight. So, which is annoying, and you don't want the player to feel so limited and restricted, but at the same time, that did make you have to think about what you were going to do. And I've got to cut a tree down to make a bridge, or I've got to find a path around here, or it just made the player engage a bit more and think a bit more, find your own solutions. But like you say, after a while, where you can swim, either you've got enough stamina that you can swim and climb everywhere, you found gear that makes it so you swim faster, or which those are all good progression mechanics, but they don't play it. They kind of fight against the sort of exploration mechanics and actually making that a challenge and more interesting. But then I appreciate that some people probably don't agree with that at all, and think that actually, well, no, I just want to be able to climb everywhere. I mean, a lot of people obviously complain about that. As soon as it rains, you can't climb everywhere thing, which yes is annoying, but it's one of those few times later on in the game where I thought, well, right, I can't get to where I wanted to be now. How am I going to do it? So it's hard to think how you can kind of bring together a solution to that problem without breaking other parts of the game, I guess.
It is. I think Nintendo done. I think Breath of the Wild is amazing. I don't think it's a bad game, and I think a lot of things are extremely fucking good about it. But I think with a little with the sequel now, I hope they expand some ideas and maybe rein in a couple of the others to try and balance it a bit more for progression. Because as you've both just said,
I want a smaller world is because I want them to work with these ideas and these mechanics that they've built on Breath of the Wild. And Breath of the Wild effectively just gives you a massive playground to just play around with all these mechanics, and it's brilliant in that sort of sandbox way. But what I kind of want them to do is create something where it feels more like a succession of puzzles, because that's always how I've viewed Zelda games, is that it's like one puzzle after another, and that can be obvious in the fact that it's a puzzle in a room, but then that room itself is a part of a puzzle piece in a level, and then that level is actually kind of like a puzzle piece in the world, because it's until you've got the item from you can then do other things in the rest of the world, and it all kind of comes together in this connected way, which I don't think Breath of the Wild kind of did, and that's one of the things I miss. I miss that.
How do you think Zelda would do, though, if Breath of the Wild 2 went back to the more formulaic past Zelda games?
How would it? How do
you think it would do? How do you think it would do reception-wise, more than sales-wise? I mean, in terms of how would people react in general? You'd have people like me who are like, "Cool, I like Zelda. I like both styles of game. I'll happily play it." But then, do you think a lot of the people would be like, "Fuck that shit. I want a Breath of the Wild 2 that's massive, even bigger world. If it's not twice the size of fucking GTA 5, I don't want to play it." Because for some reason, some people think bigger's better, even though a lot of the time, bigger is just bigger. There's not a lot of games that are bigger tend to lose a lot of focus. Like I've said a lot of the times on streams, on podcasts, like I think that there's too many open world games at the moment, and I think a lot of really good focused linear narrative story driven games are getting missed, like, and people are not playing them, and they're not getting made as much. And it's like I've said about GTA, I'm not a massive fan of them. I find them fun for a little bit, and then I get bored. I'm thinking, if Rockstar made a shorter game that's linear and more focused, that's a similar kind of story then they telling in those games with the similar kind of mechanics, would I actually get a lot more enjoyment from it and finish one of the games? Because I've never finished a GTA. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, you know,
I don't know how Zelda would. I mean, if you think about it, like the Link's Awakening remake is going to be a traditional Zelda game.
yeah.
The old traditional. as it
But
were.
it's also living on past nostalgia
yeah,
of
yeah.
Link's Awakening as well.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
But it's still that. So it's not as if Nintendo are like, that's really the past. We shouldn't touch that. So I don't know because obviously like Breath of the Wild. I mean, but like the last few Zelda games, like Skyward Sword, Twilight Princess, and they still did like critically, they still did really well. I mean, and despite like people saying, "Oh, we're tired of structure," they still got really damn good reviews. Like, I mean, Skyward Sword got like an Edge 10, I think it did. You know, like it's not like, you know, whether or not people like that game. I mean, I love it. But
I like it. I don't love it. I think it's.
it was still received well. I remember they
Yeah.
like, you know, it still got like 9s things like.
It's lovely visually as well.
Yeah, and it's got the best story in a Zelda game. Which is saying something. But I mean, that's definitely one thing. I mean, like it's interesting actually when the Breath of the Wild 2 trailer, it seems very story driven. That trailer, like
Yeah, there's already more story there than most of the whole game.
yeah.
It's kind of creepy, though, the thing that went, and then it turns, his eyes glow, and it's like, cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's more creepier than I think anything in Breath of the Wild.
Oh yeah, that was definitely the thing that was missing. Was all that kind of traditional Zelda creepy zombie re-dead type thing. There were no like ghosts or that kind of that area that is usually in the Zelda game. You know, you had your skeletons, but that was about it. So it was like, because I always said that one of the other big problems with Breath of the Wild is that because there's so much combat, there was a real lack of proper enemy variety as well. So even then, when you were doing the encampments over and over again, you were seeing the same things over and over and over again. Because I always expected at some point there would be a haunted graveyard. Come on, it's a Zelda game. There has to be a haunted graveyard, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I hadn't actually considered that, but yeah, that's a fair point. It was a big world, and yeah, you've got the Zora's domain, and you've got the where the Gorons are and all, but actually, a lot of it was very similar stylistically, and it's all the same enemies and the same. There didn't seem like that much unique. There weren't any really unique areas to it, and yeah, like a sort of haunted area might have been an interesting spin on things. And
yeah, and most of the things that did get well, everything kind of had like a different version. So like there were snow versions of this enemy, and there were obviously the skeleton versions of that enemy, and all that. So they all had like types, but they were all kind of built on the same model. There weren't that many creatures that seemed to be very specific to locations in the way that like if you look at Ocarina of Time, you've got things like the Tick-Tites or whatever it is, the things that are on the water. They're like with the legs, they jump around on the water surface, and you could only find those in areas where there was water, because obviously, and it just sort of, and then of course the ghosts would generally be in the graveyard, and obviously there's loads of other enemies, but they were unique to the areas they were in, whereas I don't know, it kind of felt like they just made different coloured versions of the same 3 or 4 enemies to just put everywhere, effectively.
Breaking news, there will be a Link's Awakening amiibo model of Link.
A Link's Awakening amiibo model?
Amiibo.
I'll have that.
You can go next to your Wario one, is it?
Yeah, and my Yarn Yoshi. and my
I got the blue yarn, Yoshi.
Midna and Wolflink.
I got my Midna Wolflink. It's still in the box upstairs.
That's something
Yeah.
actually I meant to do. I never got around to using my amiibo in Breath of the Wild, so I never got my Wolflink running around.
Ah,
Oh, something you need to do with the whole. I never got it because I never did. I never played Breath of the Wild remake. It's just still in this box. I finished the game before. I don't know why I bought it. I was just being stupid. I think I wanted the amiibo as well. I didn't think they were selling it separately at the time when I bought it. Yeah, but I think with Zelda, moving on to the sequel it does look like it's going to do the Majora's Mask thing in head to a more darker, twisted Hyrule. Like Ocarina had its darker moments, I would say, but in Majora's Mask, from the time you play the game, there's this sense of dread, especially when there's this fucking moon in the sky constantly.
Yeah.
And like every day, if I remember correctly, every day you go into the town, the music changes slightly.
yeah, it all gets a little bit more creepy
Ominous.
Yeah,
and
and then
ominous. Yes.
yeah, and then the
Yeah.
last 5 minutes, the music in the town, then it makes you feel fucking sad for the place. Like this is the end.
Yeah.
Like it generally evokes that emotion. Like this is the end for everyone.
Yeah, but also the good thing is it makes you care about those people in Clocktown, and so you've obviously got all your Bomber's Notebook and all your little stories playing out, and so it's not just a bunch of generic people who are about to be squashed by the moon. It's people that you've actually spent time with, and whereas I think that's one of the big things that I'd like to see in Breath of the Wild 2 is a bit more story, a bit more make me care about people a bit more.
Like one of the things I've mentioned in a sequel is I'd like to see more stories like the wedding story from Majora's Mask, where you have to do little quests every single day right up till the fucking last few minutes of the third day, and it's like really well done over that time period, and then there's like a big emotional impact at the end with you actually finishing it. And then obviously, until you then after doing all that, you revert back. It does, yeah. And obviously at the end, then if you go back in time again, then it's like they're back to not seeing each other and speaking and and stuff like that. And it's just like I think that game I think it deserves to be held in higher regard than most people do.
Yeah, it's still, of the 3D Zeldas, Majora's Mask is still my favorite one. And I think that kind of a lot of people don't like the time mechanic in it and stuff, which is, I can argue about that all day long. But I think one of the problems with Breath of the Wild is it tries, which is the problem with most open world, there's no stakes because you can go everywhere you want. You can take as long as you want. So obviously, near the start, you've got, the ghost of, the king comes along and he's like, you need to go and help Zelda. She's running out of power. She's been holding off Ganon for 100 years or whatever. And it's like,
she's not like a really old woman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But you think I need to get on with this, but then you don't. So you can't, there are no stakes in the game really. And so, which again, you don't have to fix that by putting a time limit on the game. But it's just, how can you make it feel like the stuff you're doing matters a bit more?
I think one of the things that like a traditional Zelda has that helps in that is obviously because of the structure where you go into a dungeon, and if you take something time, just because obviously it's the great archetypal one to always go to, is that each dungeon is like obviously has almost like a tiny story wrapped around it, and a couple of characters that were associated with it. And that I kind of like, it means that even though obviously, I mean, you can argue there are no stakes in Ocarina of Time because you could just stand around and do nothing forever and nothing bad is going to happen, but it's kind of like there's always a nice it remotivates you every time you do a dungeon, because it's like, okay, I've helped these characters, and then okay, there's some more characters that I'm going to meet, and I'm going to help them, and I've got to go here and do this, and I know that the mountain is in trouble and the Gorons are starving, so I'm going to help them. And it just so happens that helping them helps you in your bigger quest, and that kind of means that I think that helps keep it feeling like there are stakes involved. And
The
Breath
thing
of the
is, though, I do
Wild
find that doing
kind
the
of does that
divine,
with the
the
divine
divine
beast.
beasts, yeah, I think it does.
Yeah, but I don't know.
But
Maybe it's just because it's so big,
I
everything
think
feels
so.
so far
Yeah.
away that it doesn't feel like it has as much impact.
Yeah, I think the problem with open world games in general is as you both said, is because you can go
Maybe
anywhere,
it's
do what you want, and take so
primarily
long.
maybe it's just because the protagonist is like the the evil in the story. It's just stuck, and he doesn't do anything. Whereas at least in like Ocarina of Time or in Majora's Mask, you meet you meet Skull Kid or you meet Ganondorf part of the way through, or you're told by Zelda through the window, this is the bad guy, he's going to do bad things.
Look, there's a
and
picture
then
of
you
Mario when
turn
he
up.
visited.
Yeah. Or at the Deku Tree is killed by Ganondorf. Spoiler alert. Things like that. You just hear little things as you go through the story that builds to that end, and it's
Yeah.
kind of like in Breath of the Wild. It's almost like you have that whole thing where you try to recover Link's memory. But if I'm honest, I always found that I enjoyed the process of doing it, like finding the pictures in the world. I thought that was quite a nice little side quest that got you to do something a bit different.
Most of the memories that I remember is Zelda moaning.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is that actually the story that the memories you recover, you can kind of work out from the fact that Link woke up in a resurrection chamber. That kind of tells you everything. That he basically died.
I think that memory thing though was try to instill that Zelda was struggling with this being a chosen one, of stopping Ganon using her powers and stuff. I think that's what I was trying to aim for, is Zelda's own struggle with herself.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was about. Whether it was done well, I don't know. I didn't get all the memories. I guess not, from what Matt is saying. And I think the story stuff, I think in Breath of the Wild, I think if you was to probably go from like location to location straight away, I think you would get that same kind of feeling as you would the other Zelda games. Maybe because you interact with like the different people in the different tribes, so to speak. So you still get that like kind of story and helping these people, which also helps the story along. But I think because you think, all right, I've done this. What's over there? Oh, let's go over there. And then you spend like 30 hours looking at some trees.
It's the record under that.
And I think that's what kind of pulls you out of it then. But
there's a lot of time
Hmm?
spent not on the story. So I mean, I spent a lot of time not even remembering kind of half of what was going on or where I was meant, which is great in one sense, but it doesn't help drive a story forward.
Yeah.
And also because you can do things out of order, you can't really link events together. So this happened and then that.
I think that was the reason why there was such a slight story to it, because they said because it's a go anywhere, do what you want. There's no specific way in which to order it. Unless the only way to do it is if they made like
if like the divine beasts had to run in specific order, you could imagine that Ganondorf would have some kind of protagonist like a character that would effectively represent him or would act on his behalf whilst
which you have done since the SNES game of it.
Yeah.
Except for he didn't in Ocarina, did he? It was just him. Like it was
himself,
Ganondorf and then Ganon, and he was Agnim in.
So you could very easily there could be an opposing force to Link throughout his journey.
Yeah.
If, when he goes to the Zora place, say he has to do that one first. Wouldn't do that one first if you're picking it. You do the Ruto one first because that's the easy. But if you went there first, you just find out that this bastard of a person has just been fucking up the weather in this place, and and sort him out, please, Link. And then Link would sort him out. And then you go to the next one and you'd find out that that person has also been doing there. And that would kind of, the stakes could increase or change as you did that. But obviously, you
Yeah.
don't really have that.
Graham is saying he enjoyed the exploring Breath of the Wild. It's the most time he's put into a Zelda game, and I completely understand it. And I'm not saying Zelda Breath of the Wild is a bad game in any way, shape, or form, Graham. I'm just saying that for the sequel, I'd like them to just like tighten it up a little bit and maybe expand on a few ideas and try and bring in dungeons. It's just we're all trying to work out a way of doing it while also being able to go wherever you want, while also being able to have a proper story, and while we have ideas for specific things, I think none of us at all have an idea of how to incorporate everything that we'd want
No.
and
See,
actually
the thing
have
is like,
the game
I think
work.
deep down inside, I don't care about being able to go everywhere whenever I want. Like, that's not something that generally appeals to me.
Mm.
Like, I have no problem with exploring. I love exploring. But I also don't mind having limitations on that exploration, which then changes as I progress in the game.
Yes.
I don't have an issue with that. I never have. And it's like when people have always said that the structure of a Zelda game that hasn't changed since effectively Link to the Past has become stale. For me personally, that structure has never got stale because Nintendo have always found ways of changing what it is you do within that structure, and that has mattered more to me than the actual structure. For other people, it might not. It might be that they're tired of like going into a dungeon, doing a bit in the overworld, going into a dungeon, doing a bit in the overworld, and that's fair enough. But it didn't matter to me. I wasn't bored of it when Skyward Sword came out.
Make
so...
the Master Cycle available from the outset. No, I think
Oh, God,
I think the only other way I could think of doing it is if you either have a lot of cutscenes for each scenario. Say you have 4 cutscenes for each divine beast, and depending on which order you do it in, and it probably have to be more after you do the one, you've got 4 cutscenes, and for the other ones you'd have to have 4 for each other. But is doing ways of doing it so that when you do one specific thing, the world changes in accordance to that one thing you've done. For the amount of work that would have to do, they'd probably have to make the world about fucking 500 times.
I mean, it might work if you had a smaller world.
It might work if the world was the size of Kakariko Village from Ocarina of Time, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think you need to. I think the Breath of the Wild is an absolutely brilliant game, and it's kind of picking holes in something that's obviously not terrible. It's like I said, I think in one of my posts on the forum, I was saying it's kind of when something is so good, it's you kind of the things that are flaws kind of stand out a bit more, which is kind of where my perspective always has been. And I think, I agree with you, Matt. I don't think it was stale. I think there was no harm with them. Obviously there was definitely no harm with them mixing it up because everyone loves Breath of the Wild, and it sold. I think it sold more than any other, certainly 3D Zelda has. I think it's clearly done the business for them. So, and I don't think they should chuck out because I think if the question you asked a while back, Pedz, in terms of what would the reaction be? I think there would be a bit of a backlash if they kind of go, we've done that open world thing, and now we're just going to go straight back to traditional Zelda. I think some people would be like, what the hell's going on? So I don't think they just they need to ditch all that. But I agree that I don't see the problem with some having some gating in the game and saying, right, well, until you've done this thing, you can't go over there. And it might be it's not kind of the critical path or whatever, and you have to do it in this order, but just a few more limits on what the player can do. It isn't a bad thing. I remember kind of when talking about GTA, like GTA 3 is probably still my favorite GTA game because they limit you, and it's like, no, you are on this one island to start with, and then when you do a certain thing in the game, you can go over to the second bit, and then and I think that worked well. And everyone else seemed to be like, oh no, Vice City's come out, and now you can go everywhere right at the start. It's like, well, that just means I don't know any of that space because it's too big straight away. Whereas I can remember kind of every street in GTA 3 because I learned the first bit, then learned the second bit. And so I feel more connected to that space because I was kind of forced effectively to spend time in those bits. And I think potentially there's something they could do there, like with the plateau. You know, that is an area you kind of have to spend your opening time in, and it's quite condensed, and there's a lot going on there. Whereas you open up, and there's a lot. There are still interesting places in the world, lots of them, but they it all kind of blurs into one a bit more, and it's I think by containing things you can. You kind of
maybe you've actually kind of stumbled on that solution there, in that essentially what Nintendo maybe need to do is build regions which, whilst they're kind of connected, they play out like larger versions of the Great Plateau, in that you are required to find things within those regions that affect only that region, and then you can do any of those regions in things that you find in those regions will affect the other regions.
Yeah. So you could be in a smaller Hyrule for one, and then you leave and go to a smaller section, like you're in the Kingdom of Hyrule, and then you get to a certain part and you leave Hyrule and go into a small Termina.
And then you go to an area which is quite sick.
Yeah, and then there's another third area or something, which is I can't think of another Zelda area. No. So I know there's several because there's two different ones in the Oracle games.
Another area, and it's called Delfino Island.
Yeah, and then the other one is Delfino.
Fourth one. Yeah.
That'd be quite funny to see, actually. But no, that is actually maybe a good way of doing it. I think I adored Breath of the Wild, but I think there needs to be a bit more focus on story and things. And I think for the sequel, maybe having contained areas would be a good thing. It's a possible solution to being too big and sparse and not much having an effect on anything. I think literally the only thing you do is, to my memory, is you go around, kill shit, and all you get is 4 lasers in the sky. That's everything you do.
Yeah. And the 4 lasers are optional as well.
Yeah. Which, you don't even need to do that.
I guess is cool, but it's one of those things.
I thought it was pretty.
Can we talk about something else from the Direct? Zelda?
I can't remember. I'm trying to think. What do you think about Animal Crossing being pushed back till March next year? I know it's good if they need to do it, but obviously from a you want to play the game as soon as possible aspect, not a logical thought process. Emotionally, how does it make you feel?
Well, it's a shame, obviously, because you kind of hoped. I mean, the thing was, I guess I was never entirely convinced that it was actually going to be this year.
I generally thought it'd be around November or time.
I know they had said it would be, but I think the fact that we hadn't seen footage until today kind of always meant in the back of my head, it always felt like Animal Crossing, despite the fact that we knew it was coming, always still felt like it was a long way away. And so I don't feel quite as gutted as I might have done. I also think the fact that I've got a new Link's Awakening and Luigi's Mansion 3 to look forward to just means I'm not that bothered. Because I know I've got something I can play come the winter and Christmas or whatever.
Yeah, the thing with Animal Crossing is it's something you could just dip in and out of daily. It's not like these other games you mentioned are more main courses, whereas Animal Crossing is more of a side dish or dessert.
No, Animal Crossing is more like having an addiction to a packet of crisps every day. It's probably not a very healthy thing to have to keep doing, but you still fucking do it anyway.
What about you, Jenuall? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, it is a bit of a shame. I mean, I have to admit, it's serious affinity for. I like them. I think they're good games, but it wasn't one that I was kind of pinning the hopes of my Switch year on. But I think they obviously think they needed more time on it, which I think is interesting in terms of were they having problems with it? Was it not coming together as well as they thought, or is it just it needs a bit more polish? But also they must think they don't they don't need it this year. Which and I think they have got a decent enough lineup between kind of their first party stuff and obviously there's a lot of other interesting things coming. Astral Chain and all this Demon Ex Machina and all that stuff.
Well, they've got Pokemon. I mean, they literally could
Yes.
just have Pokemon, and that would be enough to keep the company going for probably about another 30 years at this rate.
Yeah. And actually, kind of thinking about that, I wonder if almost is it a sort of misdirect and sort of is it more of a strategic decision? And they didn't need more time in Animal Crossing, but
they just want to hold it back for a game for next year.
Looking a bit lighter. Let's push Animal Crossing because whether at one point they thought got Metro in 2020 or something, and that's the big game that year, and maybe now they're thinking we need to fill a bit of a gap. Let's push Animal Crossing back because we've got Smash doing well, we've got Pokemon coming out, we've got enough this year. Let's push it out, and that'll tide us over a bit longer.
What do you think of the visual
it could have
upgrade
made
in
the
it as
decision
well?
easier,
Seriously, that game looked like, compared to the last one, I know it was on a Wii home console wise, but like the water, as Matt pointed out, how fucking good it looked compared to what it normally looks like. It's like visually it's got the same aesthetic, but it actually just looks nice. It doesn't look like an N64 game anymore.
I've always felt that the Animal Crossing games have kind of deliberate aesthetic where they almost have always made it look a generation old. Like it's always been this weird thing where it just always looks like it could have run on the
Switch
previous
is
console.
pretty much a generation old right now.
No, I mean it though. Like if you look at them, there's something about them where it's like that's how I've always felt, and I've just kind of like been like, oh, the thing about that. No, I'm just thinking about it. There was a little app thing on the Wii U, one of the like little channels that was an Animal Crossing thing where it had just had all the characters standing around. I don't know what the point of it was, but
I think
it was like
it was like instead of the Wii U menu in it, the background.
They had like all the characters in modelled in HD and lit with a new lighting. It looked really good, and I thought that's what Animal Crossing should look like now. Right? It shouldn't look like New Leaf anymore. And it's almost like when I looked at you see the Animal Crossing level in Mario Kart. It's almost like that's kind of what Animal Crossing should now look like, and that's pretty much what the game now looks like. And so I'm really pleased with that because it does look like they've gone and it looks like Animal Crossing, but it looks like a big step rather than it should have been actually a GameCube game or something,
Yeah, it looks like Animal Crossing looks in how you always wanted it in your head, or the sort of the rose tinted glasses version of it. I think there's no denying that it looks amazing. And obviously the whole thing it always oozes charm, doesn't it? It's just got something about it.
My only secret disappointment is the one thing I did want out of the new Animal Crossing is and maybe this will still happen, but I've always wanted to be able to turn the camera around because you know how traditionally in an Animal Crossing
it's always
world,
in that
the beach, the beach is always at the bottom, so you can never stand on the beach and look out at the sunset or the sunrise or whatever. You can never do that, and it's almost like that's the one thing I just wish I could do at some point in an Animal Crossing game, and just actually watch the world, the day pass in a way.
Just sitting there looking at the sun.
My life is empty and I've got nothing to do. But that's something I've always wanted to be able to do. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. But I can pole vault or whatever it was over. So fuck that.
Can I ask you guys, why do you think the new Contra looks like a PlayStation 1 game? Anyone know why the new
like a what?
PlayStation 1 game?
I think it's maybe PlayStation 2. But
I think it's probably a bit fair.
I think it looked bad technically and artistically. It was just nothing good going on there.
It looked like there was Contra games that came out in the West that were quite.
I mean, you would genuinely surprised if you said Contra at the end. Like you would like.
No,
I was surprised.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
was
was like-
that was not Contra. That was I don't
Yeah.
know what that was, but that was not Contra.
That was something else that was then Contra. It was
Exactly.
weird.
Yeah. You show that kind of first 90% of that. What game do you think? I can't think anyone would say Contra.
It made me think more of something like Wolf of the Battlefield. Is that what it's called? Wolf
No
of the
idea.
Battlefield. It was like a top-down shooter on the Xbox Live Arcade. Something 3
yeah.
Wolf of the Battlefield. But yeah, it was wrong.
I think I didn't. The thing is, I was so busy thinking, A, what is this? And B, it looks awful, that I didn't pay any attention to what they were actually showing. I mean, was it
There
like
was
a
some
twin stick
shooting.
shooter type thing, or
And that was about it.
It was
couldn't
like
really
a
tell
top-down
what-
isometric-ish. No, it was kind of like from the back. It was isometric, but not
Yeah,
quite. And it was like, from what I remember, it was. I guess it was reminiscent of Contra 3's levels that were like that, but it seemed to be the
Yeah.
entire game was like that. And there was a panda and stuff, so
Oh, yeah,
like
the panda.
I think a Commando was the game, was it? Wolf of the Battlefield.
okay.
Basically, it just I don't know if it's linked to the other games that were released outside of Japan and not in Japan. I think there was one on the Mega Drive called Blast Core, and I think that was called something Core or something Blast or Blast or something. I don't know. Arse Blaster or something. I don't know. But it looked like a fucking arse blaster in that. It looked shit.
It did. It looked terrible in so many ways.
I'm disappointed that they bring back Contra, and that's what we get.
Yeah.
The only
It's
good
not
thing
in the
about it was a
collection, though.
fucking panda with guns. Let's be fair. Other than that, no one cares about it apart from Jawa. But Jawa likes Sonic Boom, so
yeah.
no account of the
how-
taste with that one.
And
I don't-
Fallout 76.
Oh yeah, I know. I've actually got Fallout 76 on PC though, so I can't say anything. I haven't played it, but alright, it's cheap.
Surely it's not free to play by now.
No, it's probably going to go up in price, to be honest. Now, what with all the stuff they announced at the Bethesda conference for it, I reckon it'll kind of like Sea of Thieves. I think.
They got a standing ovation for having NPCs.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
The classic
Imagine that.
new Coke move: release something everyone hates, and then bring back stuff they like, and they'll suddenly love you.
Yeah. Maybe that was the plan all along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe bringing Banjo was a plan all along to Smash as well. What do you think?
Oh, nice link.
Segue.
Yes. I am a big Banjo fan.
You
I
are, but you seemed a little
absolutely
dismayed with it because you
It
seemed to
was-
love it, but you found the character himself didn't seem
like
quite
when
right.
when it was like the silhouette and all joke bait with Duck Hunt Dog, which was absolutely delicious.
It was like the King K. Rool reveal, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
GG.
Yeah, it was really good. But even the fact it was referencing its own joke was just even funnier. But I was terrified that it was going to be like the nuts and bolts character arc.
Well, the
for
weird
it,
squid
where
nose
they're
thing.
like really chunky and weird. Kind of like that art doesn't look too bad when you're actually playing nuts and bolts because it kind of fits in with the overall aesthetic of the thing. But it's still
Yeah.
a bit weird. You see it in isolation and they look right. So I was relieved that it wasn't that. But at the same time, I don't know if it's just because I'm so used to character being that N64 polygon thing that I can't quite imagine what Banjo would look like if he was in a new game and he actually looked like Banjo. And this is actually what it is, and it just looks odd to me. But it just looked odd, even though I am so happy that he, like, my only disappointment is that they didn't actually then do a bit where they interviewed someone to talk about why he was in the game. Instead of using a translator's voice, they did. That's the only thing that was missing.
Yeah, they did miss a trick there, really, didn't they?
Yeah.
Actually, I thought watching it, they were.
I'd
they
have
weren't
ended the stream and gone to bed if that had happened.
I don't think there were enough stupid noises when they were showing the gameplay of
Yeah.
Banjo. Like Kazooie should be doing all of his annoying noises. Banjo should be all that rubbish.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bit too quiet. They need to get the sounds right, otherwise it's not Banjo.
Maybe it's just
Yeah, I
not
don't-
finished yet because it's the one that's in the autumn, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
October one. Or something.
Yeah.
All the Dragon Quest characters come in next in the summer, so
Yeah.
probably in the next couple of months.
Mm.
I'm not a massive Banjo fan. I think it's cool they've added him because he was an iconic, even though it wasn't Nintendo themselves. It was an iconic
on
Nintendo
console.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
So to see him there would be cool. I would have preferred Conker. For obvious reasons, I prefer Conker. Or Greg. But
Greg would be just cool anyway. In
Yeah,
any situation.
but it's nice to see him there, and Kazooie. I guess the sound effects weren't there for the talking and stuff because basically you just saw him fighting. I don't think there was much in any voices or anything
Yeah.
there. And like most of the time you saw Kazooie, she was is it a he or she? I'm gonna say she.
I think it's a she, isn't it? Yeah.
She was like shooting eggs out of her face, so I couldn't really see her saying much with
That's the
an
thing,
egg in
though,
her
is that
mouth.
She usually makes quite a
Yes.
sound when that happens.
She-
So
That's it. Yeah.
so it was missing that. Maybe that's
Yeah.
just what it was. But yeah, great. I mean, the only thing I hope is that that's a sign that maybe something Banjo related might come to the Switch.
Jar
That's
said,
it.
just for a moment, I thought we were getting Banjo-Kazooie 3 or something. I was disappointed when they were only, in air quotes, for Smash Brothers. The only answer I would give to that myself is if they were going to announce Banjo-Kazooie 3,
Banjo 3,
I-
it would have been on the
it would have been
Microsoft.
on the Xbox conference.
be-
It would
yeah, it
not
would
be
be
on
that.
the Nintendo one.
Um,
Because
I think
Xbox
maybe
was
there's
stupid.
a
Microsoft was
chance
stupid.
we'll get like ports of 1 and 2 on the Switch or something like that, and that might be something that could happen. But if that
Yeah.
happened, it would also be available on the Xbox.
Yeah.
You know, it would probably go up on Game Pass or something.
Well, if they were to port a Banjo-Kazooie 1 and 2 and nuts and bolts and not really do anything with them, then they are on the Xbox 360 and the Xbox
As
One
backwards
X
compatible,
enhanced.
Yeah.
So they are actually 4K as well. So, you're better off playing them there anyway.
Yeah.
I got nuts and bolts because I have Ray Replay. And it's on there, as is Conker, which is, they didn't enhance, but they enhanced Viva Pinata as well, which is probably
I
my
assume that the Conker,
favourite Ray
the
game
version
from
of
last
Conker
gen.
that's on there is the Live and Reloaded one.
N64.
Oh, it's the N64 one.
It's the N64 version. Proper fucking Conker, not that. While Conker looked lovely on the Xbox, it was also like there was content cut, it was toned down. No one wants to play that.
I also remember.
You mentioned that as Anthem, he will not be. His words are, no one talks about that game.
Yeah. So, I also remembered, you said, Conker looked really nice on Live and Reloaded, but whilst he looked more impressive, I also thought a bit odd, in the same way that Banjo looked a bit odd. I don't know. It's been a long time since I saw that
Conker
model.
in that game looks right to me. It kind of
At
reminds
least
me
it wasn't
of
the Conker from that smart glass that we saw a while back. That was really fucking weird.
Conker in Live and Reloaded kind of reminds me of Fox in
Star Fox Adventures.
Star Fox Adventures with the like kind of realistic style fur.
Yeah. Looks a bit weird, doesn't it?
It's funny though because a bit off topic. I put on that game the other day, Star Fox Adventures, just briefly. I literally loaded up the main menu, but I loaded it up through my Wii, and it was via HDMI. But obviously, it's not been upscaled properly, and it was on a 55-inch 4K TV. So it really looked fucking awful. And it's funny, I was saying to my other half, I was saying, back in the day, people were amazed by how this looked visually, and it's surprising, a lot of the time with games, you don't notice it going forward, I find. But when you look back at the previous generation, you see like this big gap in visuals.
Yeah,
I don't
it is
find this
surprising
looking
how-
forward. Like,
Yeah, some things age well, sort of art style wise, and other stuff just really hasn't held up, and it's hard to tell what's gonna sort of what's gonna last, because I do agree, but Banjo looked just a bit off in those smash shots, and because but we're so used to seeing that N64 version of him. Let's forget nuts and bolts because that just looks odd. And I think I think partly it's been such a long time between kind of versions of Banjo and what he looks like, but also I think there is something about those N64 graphics that it's fairly sort of it's rudimentary, but they did a lot with a little on those kind of character models, and it's hard to update that and retain the same sort of charm, I guess.
Yeah, it's like going from Thomas the Tank models to making it all CGI.
Yeah, that just looks horrible.
And also giving them everyone individual voices instead of having one person do everyone's voice. It's like I was saying, Fireman Sam's the best because all the voices was done by one person. No, not because all the voices were done by one person, including the girls and the women, all done by one guy.
One very confused guy.
But is there anything that, apart from the Zelda reveal, the Zelda game that we already said that we're going to buy, they didn't need to show us anything. Was there any games that stood out to you two at all?
Luigi's Mansion 3.
Is there anything? Okay, Luigi's Mansion 3 stood out to you. Other than that, anything that new there? Was there anything new there?
No, anything new.
Or anything that you wasn't sure of that made you go, I'm going to get that now?
I thought it was full-on made-up rumors about The Witcher 3. I thought that's clearly not going to happen. So that actually coming out is a big surprise. I wasn't expecting that. It looked just about as bad as I expected it to, and I'm not convinced I'm going to buy it. But that is an impressive feat that they've managed to do that. It's one of those.
I mean, that's probably more impressive than getting Doom on. I would say.
Yeah, because it's such a big open game, and Doom.
To be fair, though,
I'm trying to think actually. Like, I don't know how big the file size for The Witcher 3 is, but I imagine it's gigantic, right? It's got to be like 50 plus gigabytes. How
isn't
the heck
Doom 100
on a? Yeah, probably.
Doom is massive, and I think a lot of it is the multi. Which is
the thing is, right, guys, is I can't remember properly, but I'm pretty sure it had fog, kind of like Turok in it. That's how they got it to run fog 2 inches in front of your character.
What the Witcher one?
Yeah, I'm just joking. I'm just talking about that.
No, because like a Witcher version where there are dinosaurs in it might be really interesting.
I think that the surprising things there was that it's happening, but also they really glossed over that in the direct. It was like about 15 seconds of it, and then it's happening by which
possibly because that was the only footage that ran.
Yeah.
Right.
Possibly, yeah.
Jawa is sorry, guys. Jawa just said No More Heroes 3 was a big surprise. Nubelian said that was his biggest surprise, given that Suda talked about it before Strikes Again came out. So maybe everyone assumed that was 3.
Yeah, no, I think that's true. That was a big surprise.
It was. I don't think many people thought that Travis Strikes Back, wasn't it, the mini game indie thing that they did?
Yeah.
I don't think anyone really thought that was 3 because always once they said what it was obvious that it wasn't 3. I think what it was obvious was that it was a chance for them to work out whether or not it was viable to make 3. And obviously it is, or it has turned out to be. It's really cool that it's happening. What they showed kind of looked really good, but they didn't show a lot, so I don't really know how it's going to work.
Pretty sure I saw
style
something
looks
about
really sharp,
Travis
so-
Strikes Again is coming to PlayStation 4.
It probably is because they probably want to get as much money for it. Because that was the entire point of it. They literally said when it came out, and what's his face saying, you need to buy this, otherwise Travis No More Heroes 3 doesn't happen. They literally said that, and it's actually a really shitty move because it's basically saying you have to buy this game you might not want, this game that might be crap, in order to prove to us that we can make a game that you actually want.
Yeah.
And there was a bit of a nasty feeling about that, I think, from what I remember.
Yeah. I mean, my understanding of it was that Strikes Again, I think it was, isn't it? Yeah, didn't do very well, and it's because I don't think it reviewed very well. Sold.
No.
So it is one of those where actually, obviously, I'm surprised 3 is coming just because of how poorly that seemed to do. But obviously, it must have done enough that they think it's worth carrying on. So yeah.
It's also one of those weird situations where they're effectively, like, because they're different games. It feels like it's the wrong test. It's the wrong benchmark to try and set to say yes, this is viable when you're not making anything that is actually really. It's the same IP, obviously, but it's not. It's not like it would be like Nintendo turning around and saying, "We might make a new Zelda, but you're going to have to buy Link's crossbow training first." It doesn't quite make sense.
We'll make a brand new Zelda game if you buy these HD versions of the CDI games.
Sold.
Because actually, that would make more sense to do a port of the first 2, because you would get an idea of what that would sell.
Which
so I don't know.
actually because that's what they've done with, because what's it, Bayonetta? We've got 1 and 2, and actually that 3's not out yet, is it?
Nothing had been shown for ages about that. I'm actually quite disappointed. Obviously, Platinum have decided to go, whatever, we don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Jawa said, breaking news, Witcher 3 720p docked, 540p portable. I don't know where the fuck he's getting this breaking news from, because the treehouse is finished. I had it up on the stream once we finished.
Jawa news.
That is, well, I don't think anyone would.
That's not a surprise, to be honest.
Yeah.
Really.
But there you go.
And to be honest, it's like 720p on a TV screen isn't that bad.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things, isn't it? Where we so used to everything moving on, but you go back 360 generation, how many games was 720p, and it's not. I mean, it's not the end of the world.
I've always been amazed, like, when people would talk about, like, particularly now when I think back to it, how people would say, "Oh, the Wii standard definition." But how many of the 360 games were actually in HD?
Well, exactly.
Like GTA 4 was obviously one of the biggest games of that generation. It wasn't 720.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's not at the end of the day, the game's what, as long as it looks good enough to play.
Some games were a bit of a pain in the arse if they weren't in HD. I believe a lot of people had trouble with Dead Rising. Back on 360, it was like the text, they couldn't read it on standard definition TVs, but on HD TVs, it was fine. So I guess there are little things like that, but most of the
Which it does have a lot of small text. That could be a bit of a concern.
Presumably that overhauling that type of part of it to
you hope so,
to work. But yeah, actually going back to GTA 4, when that came out, we didn't have an HD TV, and it made trying to read the phone that you had to use almost impossible. Just memories.
Sounds like fun, man.
Yeah. Actually, I've just thought now what my biggest surprise was from this was Panzer Dragoon. That's come out of nowhere.
That was not something I expected to see to come back ever.
No, no, that felt like it was.
And is that an original
past.
game? This version, or is
It
that
does look like
I mean-
original game to me, unless they've remastered the first
might-
game or something. But I assumed
yeah.
it was a new one. The thing is, though, is I'm surprised that I don't know if it's Switch only. I can't remember if it said. But the thing that surprised me is the only game that has recently part in the Panzer Dragoon series is Panzer Dragoon Orta as a backwards compatible title because it was on the original Xbox, and obviously you can get it on the Xbox One. So if they gauge sales from there,
Yeah,
it's just
yeah,
if they gauge it from there, it would be odd to then release it on a different console. Do you get what I mean? It's like, lots of people really lapped up this game. Let's
Yeah,
release this on a
another one on a
competition's
different
console. Let's see what happens. It's like, well,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, good point. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That I mean, yeah, I'm a big fan of Panzer Dragoon. Even I'm not that kind of game isn't that usually my sort of thing, but I don't know. Just I've got a big fondness for that franchise. But yeah, it's a big surprise to see it back. But I can't imagine it's just on Switch. That would be
Jar
odd.
says Panzer Dragoon is a remaster of the first game. I don't know where the fuck Jar's getting all this information from.
The fontable knowledge.
Jawa should have joined us.
Jawa
should be on you
here,
telling us
the
these
information
things
live.
instead of me repeating him, because now I just look like an arse, like I don't know anything. Thanks, Jawa. Then again, let's be fair. They watched the conference at 5 o'clock and have had time to read stuff since. I had to stay off the internet and watch Netflix. I was watching Blackadder. And I was watching about the little goblin. No, I was watching the episode Beer with a little goblin.
Oh, that's it.
And so I watched that and things while I was waiting. So I didn't get to see or read anything.
Keep news coming though, Jawa. Keep it going.
Yeah, definitely keep us informed.
We need to know if that's 720p or not, Jawa. Come on.
I reckon it'd be at least a tenner. I wish I had that sound effect.
I'm trying to think what else.
Is there anything is there anything you saw that you knew about that you were thinking about getting that kind of turned you off, or something you weren't, you kind of turned you on to the game? In other words, is any game there that made you change your mind about it after previously seeing it before?
I mean, I was going to say Luigi's Mansion 3, I was a bit unsure of from the sort of brief glimpse we had before, but sort of seeing it, today has definitely sold me on that. I think it looks like they've made it look very nice, and it seems like it's going to, gameplay wise, be a nice improvement as well. So I think that's moved from a maybe to a complete purchasing.
Yes, I genuinely think there's some good games in the conference overall, direct overall. What about you, Matt? Is there anything you change your mind on?
Not so much change my mind, but I like Fire Emblem they haven't sold me on that. I think that was one I'm not sure. I really enjoyed Awakening. I'm not an enormous Fire Emblem buff or anything. That's the only one I've played, but I really enjoyed it. I wanted to get the whatever the follow up was. That's like 100 different games or whatever.
Yeah, Conquest, Songquest, and Bonquest.
Yeah, something like that. But
Bonquest, where you bonk everything.
but but because they did that, it made it kind of unaffordable to me. Like, it felt a bit wrong to just have one of those. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. But so I didn't play that. So I'm kind of like really looking for Fire Emblem because I really enjoyed Awakening. But seeing the new one hasn't grabbed me. It hasn't made me go, yes, I definitely want to get that.
What was it called? What were we calling it? Hairy Emblem.
No.
Jawa says Marvel Alliance, Marvel Ultimate Alliance. I'll have you know, Jawa, looks a lot better than I'd anticipated. After last scene, I think it looks a lot better now. the newest trailer made me a lot more interested than the previous trailer. I just wish I had played the other 2 games. Also, it was cool to see Spider-Gwen, Miles, other Spider people, because I like Spider-Man.
Yeah. I mean, if you like your comics, I think it's got something for everyone in there, isn't it? So yeah, I'm the same as you though. Yeah, I've not played 1 or 2, although I've heard good. So it's hard to know how excited anyone should be about that. But it looks nice. It looks like a good fit for Nintendo as well. And it sort of that's art style will sort of work on the Switch quite well, I think.
Yeah, it kind of had a cell shaded look, didn't it? I think like a very soft cell shading, I'd say, which I guess would fit with the comic thing. I think the best comic book looking game I've ever seen, which probably doesn't look great now, is probably 13 from back on the GameCube, Xbox, PC, and PS2.
Yes, that was a good game, that one.
And that's been remastered,
remade. Yeah.
And I think the voice of the character you play as was Dolph Lundgren. Anyway, it was
well, there we go. Worth waiting for.
I was thinking He-Man. Not even Rocky or something. He-Man. Masters of the Universe, even. I don't think it was called He-Man, was it? Is there anything else you guys would like to say about the Direct? Because we did spend about 3 hours talking about Zelda and how it's shit and it needs to be improved.
Hey. Link's Awakening looks amazing. Leave it alone.
Yeah, that does. That really does. I love the look of it. Looks like little action figures being played with. You know, I love the look of it. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I don't like the look of it, but I think it kind of gives it, because it's like a mini adventure coming from a portable. It kind of, I don't know, it just suits it. I think because it's like
it's weird. It looks really real. That's the thing. But obviously, it's completely fake. But I don't know. There is something like you can genuinely imagine putting your hand into it and just picking up the character and shaking it around.
Yeah, it looks like doesn't look like them in design, but it kind of reminds me of like the Playmobil toys. That kind of plasticky look to it.
It's got a very sort of tactile look to it, isn't it? Yeah,
it reminds me of Kirby and the Rainbow Curse or whatever it was. The clay
Canvas
one.
Curse, Rainbow Paintbrush.
Yeah, the clay one on the Wii U, where they somehow made it. It had the correct texture to it. That's what it was, and it just and that just made it really tactile.
And then you had to look at the Wii U gamepad to play the game, and it looked like ass.
Kind of, yeah.
How do we reckon the hardware will cope with The Witcher 3? Badly. Honestly,
put it this way: have you ever fought a moblin in Breath of the Wild?
Imagine that for a
do you know what's
game.
funny though? Is you can go up against one of those big, massive things, and the game will run at 120 frames per second all of a sudden, magically. Yeah. You go up against one moblin with one snowflake, and the game will freeze for 5 minutes.
I think, to be fair, CD Projekt have got a pretty good track record technical wise. I'm assuming they're doing it.
I mean, they managed to get like The Witcher 2 on
360.
On the 360. Yeah. Did they get it on the PS3 as well? Or was it just the 360? I can't remember.
Probably.
And at that time, The Witcher 2 was like the PC game.
Yeah,
for people
it was
to go.
Yeah,
destroying PC is bigger than all of your dicks put together. You know, it was that thing. So they have definitely got the ability to do that sort of thing. But it still seems bonkers. Partly because we're talking about a handheld console. We're talking about something that people like. It's in your hands. It's the equivalent of them putting it on, like putting maybe The Witcher 2 on the 3DS or something. It's mind-boggling.
It is, yeah. I think I'm more concerned.
To be fair, now you're mentioning stuff like that. Sorry, but until CD Projekt Red somehow managed to get The Witcher 3 running on a original Game Boy, I'm gonna call them a crap company. They obviously don't know how to downgrade properly. I'm joking, by the way. Technically speaking, they do fucking awesome, tough stuff with technical aspects. Whether the games play well or not is a different aspect. No, I haven't played them apart from Witcher 1.
I played
Briefly.
2. So
I've got to say, so Witcher 3 is one of my. He went in as one of my all-time. Kind of a few years back, but
see, the thing is Witcher 3 is another game which is massively in scope. So, what does that do then compared to Breath of the Wild for you, or do you feel it's the same kind of misgivings?
So no, I think which is playing Breath of the Wild after The Witcher 3. One of the things that made me so critical of some of the aspects of Breath of the Wild is because so Witcher 3 absolutely nails story and kind of branching story and reacting to kind of events and the way you play it and all of that kind of stuff and it it's really good characters in there you actually care about what happens, so I think that spoiled me in a way. So then coming to Breath of the Wild, yes, which has loads of other things it does better than The Witcher and is they're both open world, but they are actually very different kinds of games. But I think I was kind of let down by the story side on Breath of the Wild. So yeah, I think I
think that's always been kind of why Zelda has been a bit different to other. I mean, I know Zelda's never really been a proper RPG.
Yeah.
But how it's always differed because it's always been more interested in the gameplay part of it. The narrative has always been there to just provide a light framework for the rest of it to flow through. And I think, and obviously stuff like The Witcher is a series where you could kind of put the gameplay in any other RPG, and then change. So you could put the combat from a different RPG game into The Witcher, but it wouldn't make a huge difference because you're far more invested in every little bit of dialogue. That's how those games work.
Yeah, I think it got quite a bit of stick at the time for some of its kind of gameplay. I quite like the sort of the combat mechanics and things in Witcher 3. It's not, a lot of people are like, oh, it's no Dark Souls. Well, you're comparing a game which is all about combat. And
I like Dark Souls, so good.
but yeah, it's
fucking hate Dark Souls.
Does The Witcher 3 have functioning? I think Pedz is trying to ask.
It does, yeah. But yeah, it's very much a game for the story.
Yeah,
that is what sells it, and yeah, I'm not sure it's a great fit for the Switch. I mean, obviously, you don't want to categorize the people who buy the Switch, but I don't.
People bought Skyrim for it though.
Yeah, so. which I imagine is one. Yeah,
I think
we'll have some of that.
I think the simple fact that what will make a good fit for the Switch is because it's story driven. It means you can crack on when you're on a train, play for a bit, and then knock her off, and then dinner time. I'll sit down on my break and play a bit more, and then get home and then play on the TV. So for me,
that portable gaming, the structures that we used to have in place are not quite as necessary as they used to be because we have spend play options. It means that you're far less likely to have to necessarily do lots of small little levels.
Yeah,
as it used to be. And of course, weirdly, the Switch's battery life is probably worse than a lot of previous handhelds. But it just means that I guess things like that are more approachable than they used to be on a portable console.
Yes. Yeah, I think I can see it selling well, and I think they'll do. It's a game that is. It will work with the sort of dip in, also sessions with it. Yeah, the size of it will be interesting.
Yeah,
I think it was saying it was the full. Yeah, the
complete edition,
DLC. Yeah, so the
It's
base
going to be
game-
download. It's not gonna. It's not like they can. They
They're
can't
not-
see if it's not gonna.
They're
fit
going to
on
have
the
to do
cart.
some magic voodoo on like just the audio compression side of things,
Yeah.
because that must like I
Oh, yeah.
imagine that the sheer amount of audio, the dialogue alone must be hours and hours of it.
How come
Like-
audio files are so big in comparison to all the other graphical stuff? And
There's
that?
more repetition and things in the graphics, isn't there? So it might take a lot to store one texture, but then if you use that texture a lot, kind of thing. But obviously, all the audio or every line of dialogue is its own thing. You can't save space by.
Well, you know how like
Hmm.
if you rip one CD, that is usually a certain amount. Like if you rip one album and it lasts about 45 minutes, or or an hour, they roughly all have the same sort of file size. Obviously, it depends on what quality you use, but that's part of the thing, isn't it? What quality is the audio in the PS3 going to be? Switch, they're going to have to like drop it down probably.
Yeah,
Or they
mono
expect you to like
mono
I don't know,
quality from
stack
Talk
SD
Boy.
cards on top of each other and then it's Switch.
Yeah, I don't. It's definitely one of the biggest PC games I've got. It's, something like Doom. I think when I downloaded that, 80 gig or something ridiculous. I think The Witcher isn't that big, but I think when you add all the DLC and everything, it probably is must be getting on for 50 or something. So yeah, that will be an interesting one because I've got Dark Souls. Not that you obviously want to talk about that, Pedz, but I've got that on the Switch, and that got a lot of flack for its audio compression because some of the dialogue in that sounds ridiculous because of how much they've compressed it.
And there isn't that much dialogue in it.
No,
Certainly
exactly.
not compared to anything like.
No.
Oh my god, you're gonna play The Witcher 3 and it's gonna sound like you're playing the game on a tin can.
No, obviously we know how they're going to solve this because it was in the direct. They're going to get the banjo voices in.
Oh no!
Yeah,
Everything's just gonna be
solution.
text. That's what's gonna happen. Just gonna be all text, no.
It's
And they're gonna have like
finding that
Mario style
vampire
speech.
woman.
Just like one or whatever you go. Oh, they won't do that. They'll either have to have really bad sound, or they'll just have like hello, and then text.
And then it's text.
It's me. Lots of text. Whatever. Lots of text. Hi, Mario. Lots of text. And they'll literally use those snippets from Mario Odyssey instead of actual Witcher snippets because they'll probably be on higher quality or something.
I don't see a problem with that solution.
Oh, me. Hey, Witcher. Hello, Mario. That's what it'll be.
I do wonder if they'll do. It's obviously it's a bit like it's obviously the Skyrim comparison, where Skyrim had the like Link outfit and shield, the Hylian shield and all that. Will they do any kind of Nintendo theming stuff in The Witcher? That'll be interesting.
I don't think so. I think I read the reason why they added that Zelda stuff there is for people to go, oh, cool, Zelda stuff. I don't care about that VR version of Skyrim. What are you on about? I asked VR. Who cares about VR? Who cares about VR? I've got Link's tunic. Because there was literally like a week or the same day or something. They were like, yeah, look at this, it's coming to the Switch. And then like before it comes out on the Switch, they're like, hey, guess what? VR Skyrim.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's really sold me on the Switch fucking version now. Yeah.
Fair point.
I'm looking for a lady with ashen hair. Wow. I'm looking for a lady with ashen hair. Wow. They'll add 1,000 of Koroks to find in the world. Oh, fucking hell, they could as well, couldn't they? Which is huge. And it's got like 3... Is it... I am right in thinking that the expansions are set in different locations as well, aren't they? Or at least one of them.
One is there was a corner of the map that was kind of off limits in the base game, which they kind of unlocked for the first DLC. But then the second was a whole new map, and it is massive. Yeah. So yeah, there's plenty of room for Korok seed.
Oh my god, Nintendo fans are finally going to see what it's like from playing The Witcher to see what sex looks like.
I think you found like any reason why they might have Nintendo themed costumes.
Yeah.
What, you trying to say Mario condom or Mario cosplay outfit while they're doing it?
Get Bowsette in there. She'll be.
I was just about to say, yeah, Bowsette. Clearly.
Yeah, that's a good point.
One thing I will say though, it's surprising because Lee just now has asked about, do you think they use gyro controls? I don't. From the sounds of the combat in the Witcher games, it's quite strange. I don't know though, but is they releasing?
One, I think
they're releasing Resi 4 on the Switch. It's surprising they didn't add in the option of using a Joy-Con as the Wii remote option, because that for me that was much better than using the pad. Same with Metroid Prime, using the pad and then going to the remote and nunchuck was a lot better. So it's surprising they don't do it with more games. It's like they just can't be bothered.
I think particularly with Resi 4, it's
Night Java.
primarily because they were porting the other versions of it which don't have that, and that's all it is.
Yeah, it's it's not a cash grab, but it was kind of let's get and charge a lot of money for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think
basically it was Capcom.
Yes.
Yeah. Capcom and
Capcom, and it was Resident Evil, which means it's probably compatible with my carpet, my rug, my sofa. It's probably about to get ported to this empty glass that I have here that used to have water in it. I'm not bitter at all about getting excited about that Resident Evil was going to be exclusive on the GameCube bit.
Do you know what I'm shocked about? I think this was the last E3 conference, I believe. I'm surprised after the success of Mega Man 11 and the Mega Man and Mega Man X Legacy collections that there wasn't a new Mega Man X announced or Battle Network or something. And it's not so much I'm shocked. I'm actually kind of gutted because I like. But if they announced it now and released it next year, it's a 2-year gap from Mega Man and Mega Man X then. And X plays differently to Mega Man as well, quite a bit. It's just a similar looking guy.
They'll give us a new Mighty Number 9 instead.
No! I've heard that there is a game on the Switch, I'm not sure if it's anywhere else, called Mighty Gunvolt. And Gunvolt is a very Mega Man-esque game in its gameplay. Not quite but it's very similar. And Mighty Gunvolt is a crossover game between Mighty Number 9 and Gunvolt. And that is meant to be much better game than Mighty Number 9.
Not that it's hard. But...
No, but it's...
Yeah.
I wonder though, it's like I've played a bit of Mighty Number 9 and I wasn't a fan. But I also think that a lot of it is just disappointment in the person who's behind there as well. Was like a big Mega Man guy and then he makes his own and it's just like, you could have done so much better. So
yeah. But anyway, it's surprising. I thought, because obviously the Mega Man collections that they've released seem to have been well received, and Mega Man 11 and it does feel like there could be another one soon, and that might have been something they could have shown now, but maybe they're busy on other things.
Yeah, like porting Resi 5 and 6 to the Switch.
I can't believe it. Who wants Resi 6? I mean, come on.
Jasm, Jasm wants Resi 6. God damn it, Jasm.
He wants to be able to die on the toilet. Like Elvis.
Except for Elvis won't die 21 times in a row. But is there anything else you would like to add about the Direct or anything, or is that a wrap?
I'd like to say I am still very sad that Pikmin 4 seems to have just
Oh,
vanished from everywhere.
Well, I
Like,
didn't even know
it-
Pikmin 4 was meant to be a
it-
thing.
It was in development Wii U, as far as we were told. We were even told that it was quite close to being finished when it was on the Wii U. I think they said that, it was almost like hinted at that it wasn't going to happen on the Wii U because it was the Wii U, and only me and Jarma had a Wii U.
I had a Wii U. I got 2 Wii U's. How dare you?
That's the other 50% of it.
One thing I will say about it is maybe they thought, well, after how awesome Pikmin 3 was with its control scheme of using the TV, the Wii U gamepad, and the nunchuck and remote nunchuck, there's no point making another one because it's just not going to be the same playing on one screen without the map and the control system. So they thought we may as well not bother anymore.
Yeah, but it's still like it was
Not
something
you,
that was
Bell.
sounding like it was almost pretty much done, and certainly a fair way into development. So it's a very strange thing to just vanished, for it not to have
Maybe
turned
they
into something else.
maybe they reworking it because of the control setup on Switch compared to the Wii U. Like, because I remember.
Does that really take as
3 years.
make everything else?
No, that's true. That's true.
Just weird. It's one of those things. And
well, didn't they announce
Capcom
Pikmin 3 and when they Miyamoto said like in a round table, yeah, Pikmin 3 is in development, and then like 5 years later it came out.
Yeah, maybe, but just still seems a bit.
Yeah, there was a few games I expected to see there. I expected to see Bayonetta 3. It would have been nice to see Pikmin 4. It would have been nice if the
New Eternal Darkness.
I'd love a new Eternal Darkness. But that's just never going to happen, Matt, so I wouldn't even think about that. I'm also... Do you know what, though? Do you know what I'm really annoyed by? Is that Retro may as well not exist.
Yeah.
What have
they get in, they making fucking butt tons of money, probably, maybe, I don't know. They might be getting nothing, I don't know. But they seem to be employed, and they don't do anything.
Yeah.
Clearly they do anything, but we don't get to see any of this stuff.
Yeah.
What was the last thing they did? Fucking themselves was, Tropical Freeze in, like...
Themselves?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't remember that one.
They made Retro Studio Simulator.
Yeah. I mean,
just sit around all day drinking coffee, doing no work. But what was you saying?
I was going to say, it would have been. It's probably it is to expect anything of kind of Metroid Prime 4 or whatever. But it's surely they must have been doing something in all this time.
Yeah. Well, they took up development of Metroid Prime this year, I think it was, or end of last year
that we know of.
Yeah. Well, so but when did they finish Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze? It was like 4 years ago, something like stupid like that.
I think it's 2015, isn't it?
So you're looking at no games in 4 years, and I'm sure they've got more than one team. I know that they do they help on other games like Monolith Soft do.
Yeah.
But also Monolith Soft also bring out games every now and then.
Yeah.
Whereas, I would have been happy, honestly, if they just said, here is Donkey Kong, there's Country Returns, Tropical Freeze, Sizzling something.
Yeah.
Sizzling Nads. I don't know. Something, not a 3D Donkey Kong. I have no nostalgia for 60 Fox. I never played it.
Honestly, I really wouldn't mind someone else having a bash at a 3D Donkey Kong. I'd like just to see what lessons could be learned from that and how it would differ from other 3D platforms.
I wouldn't say no to having one, but if it was a choice between a 2D and a 3D, because of my because I've played Donkey Kong Country to Country Returns.
Commodity, that.
Yeah,
I would have confidence in a 2D Donkey Kong. because of its legacy and its very recent legacy as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, in 3D, that's not the case. But I still think there is a hell of a lot of potential there if someone can find the right way of doing it.
I mean, the 3D
Platinum
platformer feels
Yeah,
like it.
actually, to be fair, a beat 'em up of like Bayonetta, where you were Donkey Kong literally beating the living shit out of the thing, could actually work. It wouldn't be a Donkey Kong game in the way we know it, but it could still be something. You know,
it'd probably be terrible, like the werehog sections of Sonic Unleashed. But it's an idea.
So I remember seeing something where someone was saying, how with Ristar as a picture, or Ristar, I believe it's actually pronounced. How does it feel to be to lose your unique thing to a Wayhog version of Sonic? Because I think the abilities that Wayhog Sonic had was a lot like Ristar. So it's like, well, just bring fucking him back, because that was a really good game and there's only one of them. I'm gutted about that. Yeah. Unfortunately, I wouldn't trust Sega with it. I'd rather them outsource it to someone who knows what they're doing with games. But I don't mean in Sega in general, because I know they make like the used games and whatever. It's more Sonic Team. I don't trust with games anymore. So
it's got the word Sonic in it, so
yeah, I know you don't like Sonic.
No.
I wonder what Nintendo will do with a Sonic game.
Yeah, I do too.
Probably make a good one.
I mean, you'd get Fat Sonic back again.
That reminds me of the start of Nuts and Bolts.
Yeah, that's actually probably the best bit of the game that I saw. Banjo's like, ugh.
There are some that really hate that bit because they see it as just a finger to everyone who wanted like a new platformer, a collectathon, because it was basically, the game saying, "Ha ha, this isn't what it is." And so some people really hate that. I think it's hilarious.
I think it's pretty funny. Yeah. It's trying to say that Banjo hasn't done anything for so long. He's been a game that he's out of shape, and it's as simple as that. I don't think there's any thing of like, fuck you guys, it's not a platform. It's more Banjo's been sitting on his fucking ass, his fat ass, for the last 15 years doing fuck all. I think that's what it was basically trying to say.
Yeah. Whilst poking a little bit of fun at like the games that he used to be in, because you have to fetch all of this stuff. But it's not as if Kazooie wouldn't have pointed that out in the game at some point anyway.
Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with Retro. I get that they worked on Metroid Prime 4 at the minute, but something would have been nice. I would like to have. I would also like to see like another franchise come back, like just a little tease of like something we haven't seen for a while.
Eternal Darkness.
Like Eternal Dark. I would love it. I would love Eternal Darkness. I really would. I was actually talking to my brother-in-law about it not long ago, saying like you need to play it. It's fucking amazing. Well, I said my brother-in-law, it's my other half's sister's husband. So.
Whatever the term for that is.
Brother-in-law through marriage? Even though we're not married? No, me and the brother-in-law, that would be weird. Because he's married as well. So, yeah, that would be strange. I'm trying to think of what other IPs Nintendo have. Like, why couldn't they bring back a new Ice Climbers? They could have Ice Climber 2, Lee Cumber. One of the guys in chat is Lee Cumber. I believe his story is they were playing Smash Brothers Melee on a small screen and he couldn't make out the writing and thought it said Lee Cumber, not Ice Climber.
I did wonder where that name came from.
Yeah, I thought he was trying to combine leek and cucumber. That's what I thought. I actually asked him that when I first like, did you combine leek and cucumber? He's like, no. But yeah, you got to wonder with all the IPs, especially when they have like many characters in Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, you've got so many characters from these franchises in Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Like, you'd think there'd be some pull to those games from people who play. So it's like, oh, this character seems pretty cool. I wonder what kind of game he'd be in, and they might be interested in getting the game, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like Nintendo
there must
just...
be a lot of people playing Smash who don't know where half of these characters come from because they haven't had a game for so long.
Yeah.
Does it really mean anything to someone when, you know, like Kid Icarus or someone pops up and, you know, although I think that got a 3DS game, didn't it?
It did. I think it was a launch title. I haven't played it. I do have it, which I'm annoyed by because I bought it, and it was supposed to come with a thing. I think it was near launch though, wasn't it? It was meant to be.
No, I don't think it was near launch.
No,
it might have been quite early on in its life, but I don't remember it being that early.
I'm wrong, Bugs. Abort! But
yeah, I do agree. I mean, on the subject of ice climbers, like it's such an old game that how do you do that in a modern
give it to platinum.
Yeah, just give it to platinum. Yeah, we can have a beat 'em up game where these two people
smash things with hammers. You can't complain about that. That sounds like a fun game. Hey, these are going extinct. It's a polar bear. Smash it with a hammer. Please don't smash a polar bear with a hammer,
we
guys.
find out it was the ice climbers terrified of the animals into future tar pits and things like that.
Hey, do you know what happened to the dodo? What happened to the dodo? The ice climbers happened to the dodo. But no, there's loads of IPs that would be cool to see come back. Even something like Mario versus Donkey Kong, I'd like to see a new one. You know?
Yeah.
Because it's like Nintendo at the moment are not...
WarioWare.
Yeah, WarioWare. That's the thing, is what I was going to say, is like they're not doing...
That seems like just such a natural fit for something like the Switch as well.
Yeah.
The same way it was for like
Mario Party.
WarioWare has always been one of those things where it's just like, just chuck all these gimmicky ideas into it. And it just sort of like, the Switch is full, like, you've only got to look at like 1-2 Switch and see how many little weird quirky things they do with all of these things.
Yeah.
Why is there no WarioWare version?
Yeah, it's a good point.
I think the best thing I did on that 1-2 Switch was the ice thing. No, it's like marbles are in a box.
Count
and you
count the balls.
Yeah, and you can roll it around. That's really cool. It genuinely feels like you've got a box with balls in. But, you know.
Like, that moment completely sold me on HD ROM. It was just like... and that's actually a feature that people haven't done enough with the Switch. And I would say that maybe that's one of the things that's a bit of a disappointment with the Direct today, is that it does feel a bit like that one really weird thing that Nintendo often do. Like, just that strange, gimmicky, quirky Wii music thing that makes no sense whatsoever, but it does something with the hardware that is unique, that can't be done anywhere else. And there wasn't anything like that.
No.
And that has been kind of missing for the last few years, where the Switch
I find that like Nintendo have got a different approach in general, because they got all these big games, but they're missing like the little kind of games they would release, like NES Remix or something like that. There's none of these small low cost games they release in, which they've done on previous platforms. They're all like bigger games, like full price 50 quid games. And there's nothing there, like I said, like NES Remix or something like that. I did have a few other games in my head, but I can't think of them right now. But it's just a shame not to see them, and I don't know why they're not doing them.
It's good because
I wonder if they used to do obviously like the lifestyle stuff. I wonder if they've been scared away from the small weird quirky things by like the mobile gaming, that they don't feel like they can put little experiments like that on the Switch and it get and it'd be worth it when people just play those sorts of things on the phone. Maybe that's what it is.
I guess so, but I think what they could do is put something up like that to experiment, find out if people are interested in it, and then make a full game, incorporating certain ideas, and they don't seem to be doing that. Maybe they're doing it in other games where they'll take ideas from other games and, like, in the bigger games they make, and they've got like several ideas used sparingly, and then they can use them more in another game. But it doesn't seem like they're doing the whole little cheap title for fun, you know. And I miss that.
It does seem like a bit of a missed opportunity, especially with the whole,
portable aspect.
Going to the we've got one system now, so all of our teams can be making content for one system, but doesn't really feel like we've got the benefit of that.
No.
Yeah, because that's something worth mentioning. There was no 3DS today. Which I know isn't a surprise.
Yeah.
But that thing has lasted a long time.
Yeah.
The
thing is with Wario,
in that zone now.
You mentioned WarioWare is obviously it's very different to Mario Party, but you could have your standard multiplayer stuff on the TV, but then exactly like Mario Party, you can actually have the whole 2 switches together. I think you can have up to 4 maybe, where you can actually can put them side by side in certain ways. So you can even do stuff like that with WarioWare and have little mini games in that regard. So so why aren't they doing these things? Why aren't they doing these bloody games that we want?
That's what I mean. There is unique hardware within the Switch that just feels underutilized.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only place that's really giving the hardware a bit of a workout is obviously in Labo or Labo, however you pronounce it. Labo, yeah. So they're doing some clever stuff there, which is brilliant and really fun to see. But we want it in games as well.
Isn't it? It's an accessory you have to buy into.
Exactly, yeah. You want something just quirky
it's
on
the
the
equivalent
system.
of buying the bongo drums. The UK bongo drums. So,
yeah.
Buying
them over and over again.
You have to build them first, and then you smash them.
Yeah.
Again.
after every one. Like if you were playing Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, you would literally move one step and then have to build a new set.
yeah.
That was a good game. A sequel to that I'd like. Even if it doesn't have the same controls, I just enjoyed the environments, the gameplay. I liked punching the monkeys at the end. Well, the gorillas. That was awesome, just laying the fuck into them.
They kept that in Donkey Kong Country Returns, didn't they?
Yeah.
They kept that beat the crap out of the thing at the end of the level idea.
Yeah.
Really cool.
I think it was an actual... it was an enemy where it wasn't an actual gorilla. It was like a... whatever the boss was, I think, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was at the end of like a normal... Like the barrel beat up thing, and then the boss at the end of the boss level. Or something like that.
I think in Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, apart from the boss, you would rapidly bang the bongos to eat bananas. I think.
Bananas.
Yes, you would eat bananas. Anyway, I have run out of things to say myself. Personally, I don't know about you guys.
I've forgotten half of what's in direct now.
I know, and the thing is even the stuff I was gonna say, I've forgotten what I was gonna say. Like so. Anyway, what was your favorite show in Jenuall? What got you the most excited?
Was that for me or I didn't?
Yeah, you. I did say your name. Thumbs up, cat.
That's me. Probably, I would say, even though it's the thing I was excited about, it still is, which is the Link's Awakening remake, just because it is one of my absolute favorites. And I genuinely cannot wait for that to come out. Just getting a sneak peek at Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 or whatever they're going to call it. It's Zelda 1 for me, I would say.
Cool. Matt, what about you?
Probably the thing got me most excited was Luigi's Mansion, I would say. Even though I'm an enormous Zelda fan, I've got I mean, I'm really looking forward to Link's Awakening, but I think I said in the thread, I feel like I knew I was going to get it. I knew I was happy with it. It's an updated version of a fucking brilliant game. I kind of didn't need to see it anymore. I'm pleased to see that Luigi's Mansion has improved over what it looked like last time, and I thought it already looked pretty. So I'm really happy. One of the reasons I'm really happy time Mansion felt like a series that was just going to maybe be forgotten. I think that matters to me, that it's carrying on, and it seems like it's becoming something important to Nintendo. I mean, I'm kind of happy to see Breath of the Wild 2. I am. But at the same time, weirdly, also kind of not as excited as I thought I might be.
What would you have
I know
rather them announce, guys? Odyssey 2 or Breath of the Wild 2?
For me, probably Odyssey. I think that is still my favorite game at the moment on Switch. Is Odyssey. But I wasn't expecting to see that.
No, to me it was too soon. I felt like the next Mario is in this odd place where I think it's now a little bit too late to have done DLC for Mario Odyssey, and I really would have killed each and every one of you for it. But now it's sort of approaching that point where you think they're more likely, if they were gonna do DLC, they would have done it, and if they were working on things that might have been DLC, it's more likely that that's now going to be part of a bigger thing, which will just be a new game.
Yeah.
Kind of like Galaxy and Galaxy 2.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if that's kind of what they're going to do with it.
I know what they're going to do.
And I did wonder, because it has been a little while, but not a long time, if maybe there might be just that tiny glimmer of Galaxy 2, but it being Odyssey 2. But then, it's probably still too early for that.
Yeah. What are they going to do next E3? Galaxy 3. Yeah, I'd buy that heartbeat. The Galaxy game's my favorite 3D Mario games.
Mm-hmm.
When I first played, as I've told people in the past, when I played 64, I just didn't like it. Simple as. I was like, this is not Mario. What the fuck is this shit?
Something wrong with you, clearly.
It's not that. I think going from a nice linear game to something where there's exploration, I get that a lot of people liked that, but I find that it kind of lost its platforminess in there. And I think
it's a very different type of game.
Yeah, and I think Mario's best platforming elements in 3D games is probably the Sunshine levels without FLUDD.
Yeah.
Because it is just pure platforming, which is what Mario was always about. And then, don't get me wrong, you add your different powers and stuff, but I find that the exploration kind of removed a lot of the platforming from the games. If not removed it, but kind of lessened it, because you just a lot of time you're just walking around, I guess. And I think Galaxy kind of got the balance between the two right, whereas I'm thinking Odyssey also did it better than 64 as well. But again, the worlds weren't as open and empty as 64.
You can still see some of the Galaxy blueprint in Odyssey, in the way that certain parts of the levels are sort of built in tiny linear chunks. You can see how, like suddenly when you're doing the 2D bit and you're on the wall, you can kind of imagine how that might have been something in Galaxy. I think you can kind of see that macro level design. I think I'm just going to call it. That just sounds really pretentious, maybe, but that's what I'm going to call it.
Graham, you're supposed to say breaking news first.
Oh.
Up to 8 players online for Animal Crossing.
Ooh.
8 players?
Oh,
excellent. That's
awesome. There's a lot of people, but I am great friends, so I don't need to worry about it.
Yeah, I just don't have 8 friends.
It'd be me, Matt, and Grum playing it after. Hey guys, let's have an hour of Animal Crossing after State of Decay, is it? it'd be nice to chill out
it
too,
doesn't matter
catch some
anyway, 'cause
fish.
It's not 8 friends. It's 8 random people. So.
Yeah. That's what's going to happen now. Every single Nintendo game. No. We like stranger danger now. Only strangers, no friends. If you want a friend, go meet up with them in person.
Yeah, because that's totally safe.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems that the show was down to Zelda and Luigi's Mansion. I personally think Contra was the best game. If you're an idiot, no,
Yeah.
I guess they will be fans of that kind of game. I just think it looked like really early alpha footage or something.
Yeah.
The game there for me that Luigi's Mansion's a definite purchase, Link's Awakening's a definite purchase, and the next Zelda's a definite purchase. But I think with Zelda, it's got me intrigued as to what Breath of the Wild 2 then, it's got me intrigued into what they're doing with it.
Yeah.
Because it literally looked like the fucking castle was rising out the ground or something, as if something was happening there. And also with that thing they come across, Zelda and Link, which is strange. The game started off with Zelda and Link, so probably Zelda gets kidnapped or something. But I'm wondering if it's going to go down like the darker it's going to have the darker tonal shift of Majora's Mask, and that is what I want. I find that I think Majora's Mask for me has had me the most emotionally invested in a Zelda game, which is a bit of a leap, really, because, you know, they're not exactly massive on story, but I find that Majora's Mask did have a very good story. It was just small stories on top of a quite simple story. You had the simple story of the whole, this guy is wearing a mask that's turning him evil, and he's going to kill everyone with the moon. And then you had like these little stories connected throughout the land, which all added up, and that's what I'm hoping for with Breath of the Wild 2, or as I'm going to call it, Majora's Mask of the Wilds, until it actually gets a name.
The thing that works particularly well with the stories in Majora's Mask, the big story affects all the little stories.
Yeah.
If that makes, whereas like a lot of the other ones, it's oh, this person needs help with something, and that doesn't necessarily equate to Ganon is about to take over the world. Whereas in Majora's Mask, all of them, the narrative really feels, they all feel connected and influenced by each other in a way that most other Zeldas just don't do that.
I can't really disagree with you there, Matt. Therefore, Majora's Mask is the GOAT. So basically,
I'm not sure I agree with that, but
what we need is a Majora's Mask style Breath of the Wild where you play as Helen from Watch Dogs, which was the 70-year-old lady.
Brilliant.
I would buy it day one. I would pre-order right now if they announced it. 8 players online.
Tom Clancy's The Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, and you basically just play as an old woman tasering people and then kicking them in the shin.
Trying to think of the various old ladies.
That was fun. But yeah, I think we should wrap up now, guys, as we've been going for 3 hours and 20 minutes. I think we talked literally for about 3 hours about the Direct, which I think is the longest one we've done out of all of it. This had less games than Microsoft's, and it was talked about less.
It was a shorter runtime than all.
Exactly, it lasted 40 minutes. I think Microsoft lasted nearly 2 hours. I do find that it was a bit different though. There's 3 of us for the entire show, so we could discuss it all tidy. Anyway, I think that should wrap it up myself, and we should all probably go to bed, as I assume we have things to do in the morning.
The point where I drop the C word again.
You could do. Matt's a clown.
Nah, you're alright tonight.
I'm Clown Man. Actually, no, I think it's the high-pitched one is, I'm Aquaman, but you can call me Handsome Guy. Oh, I love Mega Man. It's not
That's a
Aquaman
worry.
from DC Comics,
Yeah. Subtly
obviously.
different.
So, thank you so much for taking part, guys. It's always a pleasure to have people on the live podcast we do. If you would like to take part in any more, just I'll just add you to the PM list that I send out every week. And if you want to jump in on a Sunday, and you can, by all means do. The podcast is open for anyone on the forum, because it's a forum thing. But as I said, thank you for tuning in for everyone, and thanks for everyone taking part. Guys, you could say goodbye if you want, or you can go and not say anything.
All right, bye everyone.
I was waiting for the C-bomb to drop there, but no.
Okay.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.